Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the VAD. Oh, are we doing like a head bobbing thing? Are we
It's
dancing?
vibing.
Are
We're
we
vibing, baby. We're
vibing? We're
vibing.
Doing it
We're
vibing.
till
We
rocking.
you want
have,
it.
it's
Yeah.
been, it's been, this is our fourth week on the VAD now, and finally, the Infinity Gauntlet of like 3 Infinity Stones has assembled, and the desk that was always meant to be is together. My name is Thunder. I am joined by the wonderful Gurf and Becky to bring you tonight's action. We have 3 banger games, and Gurf, Becky, this is the start of our intra. Is it intra? I think it's intra, not inter. Whatever. The groups are playing each other now, and that means things get a whole lot spicier.
Mm-hmm. It's the crossover episode of VAD. I believe maybe we get it the next week as well too. But yeah, we've got to talk a lot about how these teams have been performing in their groups, but now time has come to see how they match up against each other. Who's really the strongest of the strong? Of course, we'll get more of those secure, cemented in lock-ins once we get to playoffs. But it is super great to see this kind of a preview of maybe some head-to-heads with these top-tier teams, and of course, maybe those mid-tier teams that haven't had a chance to really step up and show their prowess yet. So I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah, it's again 3 games, 3 absolute heaters. We're coming in with probably the best scrap at the end of the day. So you'll see that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we are leading the day off with Bandits versus Rattlers. We have Unicorns versus Hammerheads, and that scrap at the end of the day is Lions versus Vipers. So if you're not staying tuned for that, I don't know what you're doing. But overall, Becky, I do want to ask you. We are pitting the groups against each other. Before we get into those games, which group do you think is going to come out on top? Who do you think is going to have the better win record at the end of the day?
Oh, like full on group?
Yeah,
I'm
look,
gonna go ahead and say, it's hard because like we've been seeing like a very like big spread from the side of Group B,
Mhm.
whereas like the win-loss ratios have been a little more solidified on the side of Group A.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, having some things really start to shift around, I'm gonna have to go say Group B are gonna be the ones coming out with a little bit higher win rates and looking a little bit nicer at the end of today, at least.
Yeah, I mean, again, you pretty much have a guaranteed win for Crusaders, across the board. That said, they are playing the Astronauts, so the 2 top seeds will be duking it out. But at the end of the day, we'll have to see. And again, in at least this very first bout that we're going to be bringing you, it is going to be the Bandits versus the Rattlers. And, we'll get into the overall standings a little bit. But, Gurf, Bandits, they're coming in pretty hot off of last week 3-0. Rattlers, not so hot. They're at 0-3. I mean, it feels like this is pretty done and dusted, but this is a chance overall now for both teams across the board on both groups to break the curse, break whatever streak that they have. Do we think we're going to see those streaks broken? Do you think of course, Becky thinks Group B is going to be the stronger overall, but how are we feeling about Group A, especially Bandits coming at the 2nd seed right now?
I honestly, I'm coming on the other side. I'm kind of feeling the Group A power over here because they have had a couple of really good teams right off the drop. You had Astronauts, Hammerheads, Razorbacks, who just kind of took off soar away. But it was last week where Bandits kind of stepped up and were like, "Oh my goodness, this is not just a mid-tier team. This is a team that can step up and can bring the heat as well too." So for that reason, those 4 top teams are looking just incredible. And again, just for like really tough matches that they had to go into, that Bandits have prevailed against. So the actual 2 teams that we're going to be seeing first, I believe you mentioned as well, Bandits versus Rattlers. Just the way Bandits have been playing with each other again after week 3. Well, technically after week 2. During week 3, they kind of found their motion. They finally found their groove, and I think it's going to continue. I think they've definitely found some sort of equation that works out for them. As for the Rattlers, we potentially could see it tonight. We potentially could see them get back into the groove, the swing of things. But it's just been unfortunate for them. I think there's been a couple issues with roster dealings, scheduling stuff as well too, where the main roster wasn't fully able to be there. And it just hasn't worked out great in terms of synergy. And it does show in the standings. So if it's going to happen tonight, I'm hoping, because we are pretty much hitting the halfway mark of the split tonight. So you better be finding some wins. Each of these teams have about 12 games left to play for the regulation split. And again, only top 4 from each group are going to be making it through. So Rattlers got to find their motion. It's got to be tonight against the Bandits. But based on how the Bandits have been playing, they've been on a roll. I would somewhat side with them. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, hey, you can hardly blame somebody for going with the team that went 3-0 against some of their tougher group competition, but let's go ahead briefly, if we can. We do have the overall power rankings for, I don't remember if we had the groups or the overall or actual overall power rankings. Yeah, there we go. We have Night Train's and Night Train Stream's rankings, if anybody in stream agrees with those. And we can see there Crusaders and Astronauts sitting at the top of the table, but Bandits, both for the stream and for Sir Night Train, did actually move up a spot. We had multiple members of Group A moving up a spot, and Unicorns for Group B coming in at the 5th seed, but also moving up 3 spots themselves. Notably, Becky, this is something I want to talk to you about. Vipers are still only middle of the pack at best.
Yeah, so when I'm saying that I think that Group B is going to come out on top after this week, I'm not specifically just looking at Vipers. I'm sorry, Vipers.
Right.
I do think that they have they have one player in Gent who is a plat 4 player. So is somebody who could potentially in that jungle role really be able to shine for that team. I do think, as Gurf mentioned, between roster changes and just scheduling difficulties, it's been really difficult for them to find that stride as a full team. So that could be where they're really suffering. And if you don't have a little bit of team synergy, ultimately it doesn't matter how good you have one player being. So I think that they have a shot at it. If there is one game that is going to go in an upset, I do think it is this one. But I do think that the Group B stages and some of the games we're going to watch further throughout the night are going to be a little bit stronger than this one if we're looking strictly at performances from last week.
Right, of course. And I guess, looking at that Crusaders and Astronauts, they're at the top of the table. They do have a match up tonight, which, if you're Bandits, you might secretly be praying for the Astronauts' downfall here, even if they are your group mates, because there's a world where Bandits can come out at the top of the group potentially in the next couple of weeks if things go their way. But for this Crusaders and Astronauts matchup, potentially, how are we feeling? Do we think Crusaders are just still the best team in the league, as our power rankings here say, or do we think Astronauts, not only do they have a chance to do decently in the game, but maybe take it?
That's the. Oh, Becky, go ahead. Absolutely.
Oh, I was more checking. Our producer told us that we could draw on this scene, and so
yes, you absolutely can. It's amazing. It's amazing, isn't it?
That's what I was being distracted
true
by. My bad.
artiste.
Please, Gurf. Yes.
Yeah. So with these honestly 2 top tier teams that we're looking at across the board here, right? That's why Night Train's got them ranked up there. That's why the stream also ranked them up there. They got 2 amazing teams like Napquan, Defoe, Stone Kit Kat, Mike's Revenge are all solid veterans at this point here in the VAD. Goldfan, honestly, coming in as well too, has performed pretty damn well as well. But it's tough to say for certain how that matchup is going to go because Crusaders have just dominated every single game. And the big thing that stands out to me about Crusaders is the way that they're able to play with each other. The synergy that's been coming out, the picks in draft, again, a big part of why this Crusader team has been working has been the draft. They are being really synergistic, super team fight heavy, and a lot of crazy wombo combos that are coming out. So if Astronauts can find something that kind of counters that play style, maybe look for something like split push, maybe look for something like picks. You got a lot of individually strong players on Astronauts, but it's about finding either their own unique identity that they want to run with tonight, or something that is going to counter that Crusaders wombo combo. So question mark right now, but as what I'm standing right now, I would be siding with the Crusaders just based on what I've seen, what we got to see last week where Becky Rita just went on a tear with the Fiddlesticks. Yeah, it's really tough to deal with. And Astronauts, they got a game in for themselves, but it is not going to be easy for the Crusaders either.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, with those picks in mind, of course, again, Astronauts, they have lost the game. Crusaders haven't. We'll see if they can find something that the rest of Group B was unable to. But I think with that, we can go ahead and actually take a look at Night Train. Not only had overall power rankings, but also had predictions for this week. Now, in terms of our stream matches, we can see them there. Bandits winning over the Rattlers, Unicorns actually losing to the Hammerheads, and Lions losing to the Vipers. So predicting the Vipers to do pretty well overall. But again, if we do want to take a look in that middle there, it actually looks like this is where some of the spice, some of the heat comes in, Becky. He did actually predict Astronauts to win over Crusaders, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not even sure I can deal with that much copium.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. I think that that's maybe a little bit of a bold prediction to happen right there. I'll be hard pressed to think that that's how that's going to end up as well. I'm kind of going to just like say ditto to everything that Gurf said about the Crusaders and leave it at that, so you all don't have to listen to me do the exact same rambling that Gurf said so well.
Right.
But I do think that there is a chance that it's going to be 2-1. I just think it's going to be on the other side, and Crusaders are going to end up taking it down.
That is a very reasonable and understandable prediction, Becky. I absolutely appreciate it. We just want nice, calm predictions on our analyst desk. We're not setting fire to absolutely anything. But coming back, we have just a few minutes until, again, we are getting into our first game of the night, Bandits v. Rattlers. If you are Rattlers, I don't think really anybody is predicting them to win. Maybe people might think it's close, but if you are Rattlers, how are you trying to win? What are you attacking in the draft? What are you trying to pull out? Anything spicy? We've had some interesting patches recently. Anything you want to see for them to maybe cause a little bit of chaos and get Bandits out of their groove?
You want to go first, Gurf, or me?
Oh, I got a couple of mine.
Okay, go, Gurf.
You gotta get crazy. You gotta get out there and you gotta be the ones initiating, because Bandits, again, team playstyle has been improving, synergy has been improving, and just watching them play off each other has been really good. But you throw a wrench into that, you do something spontaneous or disruptive, as one might put it. That could be potentially the winning angle there. Galley has been known to bring out the talent from time to time. If you end up seeing the Bandits lock in something a little bit squishy in the bot lane, yes, Amato does like to lock in that Nautilus or Leona from time to time, but on the odd chance, we do see them go something a little squishy. Hey, get Galley on the Talon, send him on down there. Gent has been able to play the Fiddlesticks from time to time, and definitely those are going to be the players that I'm watching out for on the Rattlers in this first game. So yeah, do something crazy, send it a little bit. I want to see the fire. And if you're gonna mess with that synergy that Bandits have found, because while it has been good, it is still growing. It is still pretty fresh. You might be able to catch them off guard if you do something a little bit crazy.
Yeah, and I mean that's how it is when you're a lower team trying to fight your way, scrap your way up. That's generally how you want to look at it. But Becky, what is your opinion? Any sage advice for the Rattlers?
I think that I'm going to expound upon what Gurf has said. And I think Gurf lightly mentioned the Fiddlesticks, and I think that that is exactly where we need to see this end up. You need to prey on your opponent's fear. You need to play a character that is going to pop up on their screen, and everyone is going to forget the synergy that they have, forget the things that they've talked about before going into the game, and are just thinking, oh no, that's a Fiddlesticks, what am I doing? And I think if we can have Gent just be that level of impactful, and as a platform player, should know how to be in the right place at the right time and get to a point where you can be a strong enough Fiddlesticks to really just run amok over these team fights. I think that if they can get to that point and then just pick a bunch of very safe characters, those enchanters that Red Panda is known for, something like the Ezreal from Not Jackie Love, then we are starting to see like a full team composition that is responding to what Bandits do. And I do think that they have to be a little bit responsive. They can't be proactive, because if you're playing against a team with better synergy than you, a lot of your decisions kind of get whittled down very quickly. So I think going for something that is reactive, something that is really relying on the surprise factor, is going to be a huge help for Rattlers if they're going to take this one down. And that does kind of very heavily hinge on the draft.
Right. And I will say, these teams, we are in a draft league. Maybe we don't have the most effective scouting, but I did just take a look over against op.gg, and I'm pretty sure 9 of the last 10 games were Fiddlesticks, and like 1 was a loss. So like if you're Bandits, you probably just go like, no. But if they don't,
Goodbye, Mr. Six.
if they don't, then hey, you know what? Free reign. That's called a draft gap. Easy GG, go next. But in case they do, hey, it's Gent's pretty good, has a pretty deep pool, maybe not just the Fiddlesticks. Then on the side of Bandits, again, you're carrying your momentum through to this series. You're feeling pretty good. This probably, it's not that this is necessarily a cakewalk, but you can't underestimate Rattlers. It's you never underestimate a rattlesnake. They can't, they don't have anything that can like actually kill a human within the first 10 minutes. So Bandits might still be able to just smash them down. But that being said, I do want to ask, maybe not necessarily the matchup, but do we think that there is a world that Bandits might be able to go 3-0? Their toughest competition today is Unicorns over on the other side of Group B. They're starting with the Rattlers. I'm pretty sure they end with like Sharks or something. So if you're Bandits winning this game, how do you think we're feeling coming into the next week?
Honestly, I'd be feeling really good after week number 3. Again, 3-3 after week 2, and then just all of a sudden, boom, they found their magic, they found their mojo, and they were rocking. Rattlers should be an interesting game. Again, big players to look forward to on this Rattler team. Definitely going to be tough to deal with. But their second game, you did mention they are up against. Oh, they're actually up against the Vipers there. Bandits can't play the Bandits. That's impossible. Play Vipers. That's going to be a wild card. I know we're going to talk more about that when we get to game 3 later tonight, but Vipers also went 3-0 last week. So that could be a definite spicy either way, 50-50. And then game 3 against Dragons. Dragons have been performing pretty good, but it's more of middle of a pack team. Haven't seen any of those big moments like the Bandits had last week. So I would give an edge over to them. Is it possible? Absolutely. And if they're feeling themselves, if they got the mojo, if they got the momentum, keep running with it, keep going with that, and make it happen again, boys.
Well, a good positive message from Gurf Becky. So if you are Bandits, who are you looking to play through today, right? We might have some people coming in for week number 4. Who are we looking at for Bandits? Who's the carry? Andy Gwen had a phenomenal Darius performance last week. I think it was last week. Is it just more of that, or is this kind of, the team can do what they need to do to win?
I mean, I think that every time that I've seen Andy Gwen play, Andy Gwen has been the most impressive player on the Bandits for me. I know that Weehaw is very good, but it has been like a little bit of the duo of them and making sure that Andy Gwen is going to win that lane and then be able to just be either an annoying splish pusher or somebody who is going to wreak havoc on team fights in a way that you're not really expecting. Right. And then Regdor and Amato are just like, they kind of get left alone in the bottom lane a lot of the time, and they just get to like do their own thing. They win a decent amount of the time, but it does end up being like a very different situation compared to that top side of the map where Weehaw really likes to take a lot of attention to. So I think that we are going to see some characters that maybe are going to get more fleshed out. I would be really excited to see something like the Gwen or the Darius again, because I think that Darius just like wreaks havoc in team fights at this elo because people just like are not expecting how much damage that character is going to put out, and especially in lane, no matter how many times I play against a Darius, I still have no idea when I'm going to die. I know that he like has something that allows him to be able to tell, but I have no concept of it. So Andy Gwen, I think, is going to be the player that I'm personally watching out for, and somebody who should be playing kind of like one of those bruiser carry champions, either in something like that Gwen or Yone, or like pretty much all the characters that Andy Gwen is known for playing. I would be interested to see if Weehaw goes for something like the Kayn. That is like a pretty good gank champion. You are trying to do a lot of focusing in the early game towards that top or middle side. So I think that is going to be a good direction to go towards, and something that falls in very nicely to the idea of how do we make Andy Gwen win lane.
Well, wonderful. We'll have to see if Andy Gwen will be able to win lane and potentially win game, or if the Rattlers are going to finally break their streak and start climbing up the ranks in group number B. Still hoping that we are going to get that playoff spot for them, but players are in lobby. Draft is going to be starting here in just a few short moments. Thank you so much for being on the desk, Gurf and Becky. Now it is my time to leave. Thank you so much, by the way. Also, to Night Train for those wonderful graphics. I will be heading out, Gurf and Becky. It is up to you now to take the cast.
Ooh, all right.
Here we go.
This is my favorite part. I think that people just like don't actually understand how much hinders on draft. You can see I'm getting closer to my screen because this is my favorite part. I need to
I need to see the pixels for the draft.
Exactly. Immediately, Fiddlesticks was the first thing to go away. So we're not the only ones thinking that Fiddlesticks is a little bit too scary. And it does look like they are specifically targeting Gent and the characters that Gent likes to bring into the jungle. We'll be interested to see if we actually even see a new ban. I don't think I would be that afraid of a Diana. Like, the strength of Diana right now is mostly going into tank Diana, and that's not something that's going to run through your entire team. So I can't say that that's what I would be afraid of and what I would have banned, but I can certainly see, like, if somebody who is plat 4 has a particularly very good win rate and KDA, he does, then I could see that reasoning behind that ban. And, I maybe wanted to see a really powerful top laner, and Rattlers do not want to see a very powerful top laner.
No
Yone,
Gwen is allowed.
Irelia, and Gwen, all gone, not allowed.
Yeah, I think the fear is more of Gent and what they're able to do, so limiting the pool a little bit, but I'm interested to see what they are going to be picking. ADCs are coming through first, and that Misfortune has been huge as the B1 pick. A lot of stuff can go along with it, and again, just has been super, super useful, but same with the Ashe. If you're looking for utility, you're looking for slow, as well as quite a bit of damage later on in the game, you've got it, but there she is, the big one. Seraphine does get locked in for the Rattlers, so wouldn't be too surprised if both of those end up in the bot side. Again, you can keep your distance. You got lots of slow. You got lots of poke. And the encore from Seraphine can just be absolutely turning in these fights. So when we were talking about the bandits playing around each other, an encore can be super, super disruptive to that. Again, there is that potential option for Rattlers to go for a flex option here. But the Soraka, we are going to see locked in. So I mentioned Amato loves the Nautilus, loves the Leona, but you know what he loves just a little bit more than that? His Soraka. So super pumped to see how that is going to be going. Again, now it begs the question, Rattlers, are they going to be building any heal reduction early on? Do they need to build it? Or are they going to potentially look for something that can just pop the Soraka instantly, and then you don't even have to worry about getting any grievous wounds?
Well, this is going to be interesting because Galifianakis actually really likes to play things like Talon as well, or has played things like Talon or Jace that just do a lot of burst damage or have the potential to do a lot of burst damage. It'll be interesting to see if we actually see a mid laner like that get picked up. I wouldn't do it right now, especially now with this jungler picked on Kumi. And it actually looks like we're going. I have a hard time believing that the Scion is jungle, but it could be.
Hey, you
Unless
never
we're
know.
doing this to take it away from Andy Gwen.
I've seen a few Scion jungles in my day. If you know, you know. There was one specific jungler who liked to run the Scion jungle TP. Different. It was different. We'll call it that. It is a question mark too, because do you decide to run on that? I have not personally seen any Scion in the jungle for quite some time.
Oh, yeah.
So also a question too, like, would they do something extremely spicy? Send it bot lane, Scion support, just to have that extra meatballness to your team if you really want the beefiness. I would say though, most likely it's going to be in the hands of TSF Royal. It just works the best in the top side. But hey, it's VAD. This is where people get to bring out their crazy picks. That's where they get to pick realistically or try some of those more obscure team comps. So you never know where it could end up. But final bans are coming through right now. Fiora, Silas are going to be taken away. Same with the Lissandra and Bandit still have one left. But I'm pretty sure, just like myself too, scratching my head, where are these champs going? Where the heck is that Scion going? What is the plan here from the Rattlers? But maybe they were listening in on the pre-show, say, hey, throw a wrench in the plan, do something crazy, do something wild, and send it. Scion is a champ that kind of sends it.
Certainly is. I was also very eager to find out if we were going to see 5 top lane bans or if we were going to see any others. The Silas has to be one targeted at Kumi, though. Likely isn't going towards Andy Gwen. So we are seeing 5 top lane bans if you're going to count that volley bear there for the other side. It seems like a weird ban to come from, actually, especially now that Galifianakis has picked this Scion for somebody on the team. I mean, maybe they're also thinking that the Scion is a little bit of a question mark and could potentially end up going somewhere.
No way. No way. We get to see a Nidalee. Becky, when's the last time you've seen a Nidalee in any competitive queue?
So you need to know a fun fact about me. I've been playing this game since 2012. In about 2012, 2013, AP Nidalee used to be able to one-shot people with her spears.
Oh, I remember.
I in that time vowed that Nidalee was my least favorite champion in the game. And that I would never play Nidalee. I would never own Nidalee. It is my most hated champion in the game to this day. I own every champion in League of Legends except for Nidalee.
Are you see? I don't know if you are catching this draft. This is bonkers. These teams are wild out tonight. Yorick, just got locked in. You mentioned Nidalee's your most hated. Yorick is my most hated.
What?
Every time I tried to play in the top lane, he would just kick my butt. I'm not saying he's a bad champion. I'm just saying I dislike him
That's what
because
I'm.
he
Yeah.
kicked my butt so much.
I think everybody has a character like
Wow.
that. You just have somebody who made your life miserable when you started to play the game, and you just hate them. This is a good pick. I don't think that Nidalee is a good pick. I actually think that if you want my serious response, I think that if you looked at Vi and you were like, I'm going to go ahead and pick Nidalee, I don't think that that's the best choice. And I think you certainly are getting a little bit counterpicked by the existence of Rise and Yorick. There's just like a lot of meatballs on the enemy team. Like even the squishy characters aren't that squishy. And I have a hard time believing that a Nidalee is going to be able to get onto an MF or a Soraka when there's a Vi and a Yorick in play. But maybe Talon will be able to have a little bit of an easier time. Maybe if we're really working off the back of this Scion as well, that will make it a little bit easier. But it is going to extremely be the job of Gent and Galifianakis to be getting on to that MF and the Soraka. And I'm hoping that this Talon's game plan is going to be roaming bot a lot and just trying to capitalize on blowing up that Soraka as much as possible. That has to be your plan because you're not going to really be blowing up a Rise. I have a hard time believing that's going to happen unless Galifianakis does some insane plays and just like beats the pants off of Kumi.
So you get to see Gally's talent tonight. It is honestly of the talent players I have seen, very, very impressive. So yeah, I would love to see that too. You send it bot, right? Exactly what we said. Wait a minute. Maybe they were listening a little too much. Maybe I got in the
We're
brain
actually
a little too much, right? The talent comes through, right? But that's after Soraka Misfortune has been locked through. So honestly, I see both these team comps. You got both a lot of damage, a lot of good stuff on both. Okay, maybe you disagree with the Nidalee, but what I see from Rattlers is okay. You send the meatball in. Scion goes charging down these fights, gets set up. You can trail that with either the Ash Arrow or the Seraphine Encore. And then Nidalee from the back. You yourself know how much those spears can do. They still hurt, maybe not as much as Season 3, Season 4 Nidalee when she was full AP. But it's Gally who I've got my eyes on. It's Gally who's got to be the one setting up these flanks, looking for not Regdor, but unfortunately for my friend Amato there's going to be a target on his back. Bright red,
I'm sorry, you can't
neon.
pick Soraka without expecting to be the target of every assassin that has ever existed.
100%. Gally is going to be in that lane. I would say pretty much once they hit 6. I don't know if they go for something a little early. It depends if Gent is rotating, but I would expect more of a just farm on Nidalee to get those early damage items and then be hard hitting out there when those team fights start to burst out. However, Bandits, I would say, have the overall stronger team comp if we're looking in just general team fights. Bullet time, it's a big one. We all have seen the Misfortune ults before. They do a ton of damage. But you mentioned the Rise and Talon. I would say I would be slightly favorable over to Talon until we hit late game, because that's when the Rise's true power comes out. That's when he can hit like an absolute tank. Same goes for the Misfortune, and especially for the Yorick.
Yeah, very true. I do think there is a little bit of a saving grace. That bullet time can hurt a lot, but we do have this Ashe Seraphine lane that is going to be like, okay, your ult is in a straight line. Guess what? Ours is too. Are you willing to be a sitting duck for a moment to be able to do those things? So it will be very much dependent on, once again, Rattlers are going to have to be reactive. We said that that was something that they were going to have to do anyway. And with those two characters, they've done a really good job of saying that they will be reactive. They do have a little bit of play with this Scion as well. So you do have some engage potential. And it's really going to be just like trying to decide, okay, if we get engaged on, where are Nidalee and Talon going and how are they getting into the back line? And then if we are engaging, where from the side are we coming in that we can still get to the back line, and Scion is going to be the meatball that the Scion so desperately needs to be for this team, because everyone, it looks to be very, very squishy. So Seraphine gonna have her work cut out for her, as you just gotta make sure that everybody is being safe. And Scion is gonna have a ton of work to do to make sure that there is just this big dead zombie wall in between this Scion and the rest of the squad.
Yeah, he's got to be soaking up a ton of damage, and we'll see if that can hold up late game. Don't know if you decide to build Anathema's Chains if someone gets a little bit too out of hand there, but you also have the a potential opportunity to just go ahead and split push top. You take that turret demolish, you just go absolutely ham up there. But before we do cut to break, I'm just, thinking the gears are turning. The smoke is maybe flying a little bit on my ears here. I think these team comps really suit each of these teams very, very well. Bandits, again, slower play style, but again, work well with each other. And I think what they've put together here is going to be able to accomplish that. You got a decent amount of CC there. You've got, well, Soraka, who just heals everything in sight, as well as quite a lot of damage, especially once you get to late game. So if Bandits going for that slower play style, ramping things up throughout the game and aiming for that 30-minute mark, yeah, that's I think where they're going to be definitely favored. But I asked Rattlers, hey, give me something spicy. Send it a little bit. And they have given me just that. So I'm super excited to see if they can pull it off. Is it the riskier comp? Absolutely. Could it
Yes.
absolutely just get blown up and then the goal lead goes the way of the Bandits and they can't catch back up? 100%. But if it pays off, it is going to be absolutely tough to deal with. And if they get that early game lead, mid game is going to be for the Rattlers. That is where they're going to need to find those major objectives and hopefully close it up before you get to that 30-minute mark. But Becky, any final points, thoughts, ideas, concerns, words of wisdom for these teams before we send it to break?
Y'all better be ready to try and see Rattlers go off, get some early gold, as you just mentioned. And if they're not able to, they're going to have to get really creative. So it's going to be one heck of a game to start our night off.
It's going to be a banger for sure. Let's see if these teams have got the heat here in our first game of week 4 of VAD. We are going to take a quick break. Before we go, make sure to get those predictions in. I will have them up in literally right now. Look how fast. I'm great at this. We got them going right now. Get those predictions in with those channel points, and we will see you back here in a few minutes on the Rift for the first game of the night. Don't go anywhere.
seconds until minions spawn.
Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to week 4 of Victoris Amateur Draft. We are on and ready to go for this first game of the evening between the Bandits and the Rattlers. Going through the teams here, we got Andy Gwen in the top lane for the Bandits, Boat Chicken in the jungle. We've got the Kumi, we've got Ragdoor, we've got Amato. I believe Boat Chicken, also known as Weeha, and Amato, also known as Overcomer. Going to be interesting to watch this team. They've been so good recently, but Rattlers picking something a little bit more spicy for us. TSF Royal in the top lane, Gent in the jungle. We've got Galifianakis in the mid lane on the patented Talon, along with Not Jackie Love and Red Panda in the bot side. But Becky, how are you feeling about this first game, Nidalee aside?
I mean, this team composition is interesting. It is certainly hoping for a much more aggressive start and kind of getting off to the races early,
like
which,
this.
considering this
You're
invade
going
that is
for it.
happening,
Look at the
they're
start, Ragdoor, Amato.
ignoring the jungler. Okay, and you know, just saying, I'm just going to go ahead and smite this away, but not being able to pick up a kill does kind of make this a pretty big L for the side of Rattlers.
Heavy investment here for the Rattlers this early game. Gent is not done. Throwing another little spear out there to see if they can find a shot on Takumi. But yeah, absolutely right, Becky. This is going to be costly because you can already see that Boat Chicken, aka Weeha, has made their way into Gent's jungle, looking to take away that red. So double red start, which is just going to be, it's extra, well, I say extra burn. It's not extra burn. You just get your red buff re-up there, but it's going to be a huge loss to Gent in this these early moments of the game to be losing that buff. And again, any possibilities for ganks, I would say a little bit lower on that side until we start to see the level 6s come out. So it's going to just have to be a farm-heavy early game for Gent, though the Dark Harvest on the Nidalee does potentially hint to wanting to look for those big damage outputs there. But we'll have to see how it goes. For now, though, Red Panda taking a lot of trade in this bot half of the map there. Top side, we get to breathe for a little bit. Andy Gwen will get knocked up there. But look at, oh, wait a minute. Weeha. Nope. All good. They've got Smite. They're healed back up and looking healthy. Gally wards up the river just in case, because that Vi potentially, well, is on our end up on that top half of the map.
Yeah, there's a lot to be concerned about here for Gent, especially not being able to have any top side of the map. Is going to get chickens, but is going to very quickly find that that early invade, not really being able to gather a kill, is going to be more painful than you maybe would have initially anticipated. So I'm really going to hope that instead we're going to see Gent go for a lot of early ganks, especially seeing that Dark Harvest. You're just going to be so behind with that if you don't get yourself committed to fighting as many champions as possible. And I know we're saying like maybe we should just like try to farm on the Nidalee, try to go for those items. We might just have to be trying to farm champions. And we might have to hope that the rest of our team is going to be okay with a strategy like that.
Sometimes that's just the play. Hey, they're worth a little bit more than minions individually. But I did actually take a look at Gent's info there. That first early trade we saw on the red buff, yeah, they didn't get any kills. Yeah, they didn't get the red buff, but you know what Gent got? They got a stack of Dark Harvest off the bat. So they're at least on the board with that rune. But it's definitely going to have to be ramped up more for sure. I agree with you. It's just, if you're not picking up those early stacks, you're not going to have as much impact. Those spears are going to be slightly less scary, though. I wouldn't put it past Gent to be landing something potentially scary here. Is lurking in this bot lane right now. Red Panda and Not Jackie Love do have this wave pushed up, so this is going to be a little bit tough for Gent to look for a gank. And of course, a lot of time is being spent down here right now, and you can see that CS differential between the junglers is just growing and growing.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it yourself. Wave management is going to kind of be the name of the game, especially for a Nidalee that doesn't have any CC or a great way for you to get on top of other people. Like, you can't really go into this mid lane. Talon doesn't have any CC. Like, you're going to slow rise, and that's going to magically be the way that you get into it. You're hoping that if you go to top lane to try and help out this Scion, but you're facing down, like, the meatiest Yorick of all time, and so you're hoping that bottom lane, that's the only lane that has squishy characters that you have a chance of killing and getting Dark Harvest stacks on, is really going to revolve around Not Jackie Love not pushing the lane very far up, and Red Panda being able to hit those snares.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of management down here with, timing, mana use as well too, because Red Panda already quite low. I do not know. Oh, I think Bo Chicken Weehaw just snuck just in there. They don't know Gent is in this bush as well either,
no.
but Red Panda gets jumped on, the double flash away, the exhaust coming down onto Boat Chicken, and Gent is down to just a sliver of health. Will it be first blood for the Bandits? Can they close it out? They're focusing, not Jackie Love, but Gent goes back in for what? Just to die. It's first blood for the Bandits. Regdor gonna be picking up that kill. Not Jackie Love, still trying to get some trade outs, but that 3v2 situation not going to be looking too pretty. However, up in the jungle, you do have Galifianakis roaming around. A little bit of parkour here could potentially get them a kill here. Oh, that's actually going to be the Shadow Assault coming through. The Ignite is popped, flashing over the wall into the river, and sees the multi-members of Bandits coming up to help out the Kumi as well. So they will back off for now, but Talon already threatening those early kills.
I mean, that was a lot of damage to be pushed out. Unfortunately, the Ignite not going to come to fruition there. Potentially could have been a place where you should have saved that ultimate and that Ignite for a time when you know that the jungler isn't, or you're at least more sure that the jungler isn't around that portion of the map after what had just gone down in that bottom lane. Jet also has purchased a Dark Seal, so continuing to not only, I wouldn't even say double down at this point, I would say quadrupled down on the trying to get ahead in the early game, while still not being super ahead in the early game. But the door is not closed. There's still time for this Nidalee to be able to do something, and with this Ryze pushing forward, like putting some attention towards this mid lane might actually be the call, especially considering how much damage Galifianakis did.
Let's see if they're going to make it work, though. Making a little trip into mid lane and immediately going to get stunned up there by the Kumi. And yeah, you know what? Bring up a good point. Doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. Sir, you have a 20. Yeah, hit me. I don't care. It is going to be more and more reliant on getting ahead. And when you have Andy Gwen just stepping into your jungle, Jen hasn't gotten a red buff yet. And over on the bot side of the map, Boat Chicken securing the early Hex Drag with Regdor and Amato. And again, going back to the process of stealing buffs. Andy Gwen is denying the red, and Boat Chicken, aka Weehaw, is going to gift that blue buff on over to Regdor. So now Gent not only loses the red, is going to come down and have a really, really sad time when they realize their entire jungle has been just scoped out.
This is low-key heartbreaking. I never thought in my life, now that I've given you all this background, that I would feel bad for a Nidalee. But I, in this moment, do genuinely feel bad for Gent.
Unfortunate situation, unfortunate start, and that is kind of the drawback of picking a high-risk, high-reward team, is the risk to be punished is up there, and this is something the Bandits have done really, really well in this early game. We're not even at the 10-minute mark yet, but we have seen multiple invades into the jungle, multiple denying of those super, super important early buffs to get that clear rolling, and almost double in CS Weehaw is sitting at is going to be so, so tough to deal with. I'm actually expecting a big back from the Vi quite soon, and then I think those Vials, those cease and desists are going to be coming out a little bit more frequently. Still, though, it is early on. My eyes are still on Galifianakis. That Ignite is going to be back up soon as well, and I would not be surprised to see a roam. But again, fingers crossed, hoping that they are going to make some plays towards that bot half of the map.
And Gent just getting level 5. We're starting to get to the point now that we see that Weehaw is at level 6, as you mentioned, and has that ultimate at the ready. The reason that you pick up something like this Nidalee is starting to go away. You pick up something like a Nidalee or Elise because you just have so much more ability power in the early game because you start the game with your
double
ultimate
encore
as
into the crystal arrow. You
ultimate.
cannot escape the CC. Regdor goes down, and it's not Jackie Love picking up a kill. Again, this whole bot lane almost been dominated by the Bandits, but those ults, that CC, you can't contest that.
Yeah, if you're able to hit enough of that poke on the Seraphine, you don't have to wait for your opponent to get to their ultimate. And I love that not Jackie Love and Red Panda said, hey, we're both level 6. Because your jungler was down here for so long and you went to go invade into our enemy junglers, you're still level 5. Let's just use our ultimates right now, get our Ashe a little bit ahead. It's also 30 CS ahead of this MF. So JackeyLove might just be the last hope for this team if the top side of the map isn't able to start pumping through some damage or some kills or some gold somewhere along the line here.
Definitely impressive stuff from not JackeyLove. Just a huge lead here. Again, that first blood that Regdor was able to pick up kind of nullified at this point now that they've been able to pick that up. And Regdor, this is going to be a little scary here. All by himself, Amato was forced to back on off, went for that reset. But my eyes right now on Gent, currently just around the corner, stealing some Krugs, saying, hey, you know what? You stole enough of my farms. I'm going to steal a couple back just to even it out. But Weehaw, aka Boat Chicken, is down here as well. Gent will spot him out and will back off to safety, though. Not JackeyLove, potentially trying to sniff something out. Weehaw stepping up, threatening that potential cease and desist. It is going to be tough to get out of. And then I love this too. You look at the mini-maps. It's the rotations together. Kumi, even though they're looking for a back relatively soon, got about close to 900 gold in the pocket. Just the rotations into the jungler, knowing that Boat Chicken is looking for any potential steals, will always have backup with them. And that's something that has been, that the Bandits have been showing. So really, just those little small moments is really cool to see.
Equally cool to see is that Galifianakis and Red Panda there as well, doing those rotations to try and keep Gent safe now. I like that we're starting to see these adaptations. We're starting to see that the team isn't completely tilting and being like, Gent, you put yourself up high and dry. We can't help you. Goodbye. Instead, they're saying, all right, let's see if we can kind of keep you in this game, get you into farming a little bit more so that you can end up being as strong as the rest of us.
Yeah, anything to get them ahead here, anything to get them actually on par here, but oh, a little scary action in the mid lane there as Gali will be forced to use the Shadow Assault to escape there. Red Panda has been caught out, but we have a huge fight actually breaking out here in the jungle. Over the wall, they will come, and Amako gets picked off. We are still going forward as they try to find another, but that Encore, almost so good for Red Panda. Unfortunately, we had their number.
Yeah, unfortunate spot for Red Panda and a lot of ultimates used on both sides, but Amato even still has that big ol' Soraka ultimate, so maybe not as scary for the side of this blue team here. And with that dragon up and having that advantage, we might be seeing them try to look for it relatively soon, especially knowing that that Enchanted Crystal Arrow and Encore are down.
Oh, let's see how this game's gonna keep going. We just passed that 10-minute mark a little while ago, so we're creeping our way into the mid game now. Yeah, I just had to do a double check because I might have got it mixed up. I was like, maybe that's Weehaw's alt there. No, Boat Chicken, I believe, is their own. They're their own person. So I apologize, Boat Chicken there. Really impressive on the Vi moves. I love the schmoves over the wall there. So good setup, great Vi. I'm looking forward to more. But this has been interesting to see, the possible comeback here to try and get Gent ahead. They are going to start on a little bit, again, just threatening, but not fully committing to these ganks. And unfortunately, we see once again, there's more buffs being taken away. Royal's going to be put in the cage and said, hey, stick around for some more. Andy Gwen comes over the wall to meet him. Maybe the maiden to finish it off, but no, it's going to be a nasty auto to get it done. Gent is just around the corner too, but the Scion zombie there whacking away at the maiden. Gent jumps out of the cage, but Andy Gwen still in the chase. No, the blast plant will save them. Gally with the flashing of the level 7 into the Shadow Assault. Can they find any damage onto Andy Gwen? So damn tanky. Will just bonk Red Panda on the head. Bandits finding more kills. They find another dragon, and we're going to spice things up with a little Infernal Soul today. But Regdor, oh no! Becky, the arrow goes completely wide. Regdor lights him up too, and no kills will be found in that bot lane exchange.
I'm going to be honest, this game didn't feel like that bad. Like, it was feeling pretty rough, but it was really just feeling rough for Gent. Now, all of a sudden, this is kind of just going to potentially be a little bit of a nail in the coffin. I mean,
that's a chin scratcher right there, Becky.
The actual nail in the coffin is Andy Gwen. Andy Gwen had Swifties and a Divine Sunderer and was taking no damage for that entire exchange with literally 4 players on the top side of the map. And if that doesn't make you feel a little hopeless, I don't know what does.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. That's rough, buddy. And I think I've used that quote before too. But yeah, unfortunate situation that the Rattlers have found themselves here in this early to mid game. And the question is, how do they start to get themselves back in? Is there a way for themselves to get back in? Only 2K gold behind right now overall, but I think we got a little preview of what's to come, Becky, was Andy Gwen bonking away on that top half of the map. That's a little scary that early on this Yorick can do that much damage. Divine Sunder has been completed. They've got the Swifties done as well too, plus a Phage. Yeah, this Yorick's going to be hitting quite hard and potentially looking for more as, Boat Chicken does threaten that gank in the top lane, forces the unstoppable onslaught out of the Scion. And for now, we'll go back into the jungle. But yeah, eyes on Andy Gwen right now. They've been absolutely huge. And it's going to be another arrow encore
Beautiful.
combo. Ragnar down low, trying to heal them up with that Soraka, but coming over the wall, looking for more. It's the Kumi who used that Realm Warp to get down to this bot lane. Red Panda on the run, trying to slow him down. More exchanges in the top, but can Kumi clean it up? No, they can't! Oh my gosh.
Wow, and we last second get the flash out of the Soraka. Okay. Not too bad, all things considered, even though Jackie trying to just pick up some more kills. It did end up going Red Panda's way, but now Galifianakis trying to be a little bit of a nuisance towards this Rift Herald, but that is not going to be enough either. Andy Gwen is just so insanely difficult to deal with on this Yorick. I think you're currently winning the award for most relatable hated champion in League of Legends. Watching this game, I would certainly hate Yorick much more than I would hate Nidalee.
He's a lane bully. There's no nice way of putting it. He gets in the lane, he makes it difficult. Again, all those little minions and Maiden that can come out is just extra harass on top of the already tons of damage that this guy can output. So it's going to be a question mark how Rattlers are going to be able to manage Andy Gwen this game. Because at this point, Tier 1 tower is gone in the top half of the map. Looking potentially for Tier 2, again, harassing more. Did they just lock him in the cage for the Scion ult? Unreal, Andy. Unreal. Well played, bud. Wow.
Okay. I unfortunately feel like we've predicted so much.
We predict a lot, but at the end of the day, it's up to the players. It's up to the gods of chance sometimes. But this has been interesting all the way through. I would definitely agree.
I'm trying to see if the side of Rattlers can find themselves a way to at least take out some of these players that are extended pretty far, but Royal is just...
Oh my god. I don't know, Royal could potentially get the tower here. It's the tactical exchange. No, it's not. It's not. I lied. I absolutely lied. No. I was hoping. I was trying for it. Oh my goodness. Red Panda has been on point with these encores, though. The trade back from Regdor, almost scary if he had a little bit of extra mana there to follow up with some abilities. Gent in this mid lane still tossing out some spears, but I haven't seen a lot of huge connections. I haven't seen a lot of those long range engages. So we'll see if they can step up, but you look at Boat Chicken is clearing out some wards, was spotted out there coming up the river, but back up to top lane. Our eyes on Andy Gwen right now. You see the Rift Herald has been spawned. Tier 2 is about to go down. You've got Maiden and Shelly pushing alongside here. The Sphere just tickles him, and walking away from the Scion bumps into Shelly. Back in the cage you go, because TSF Royal is getting bonked on, and Andy Gwen is being an absolute menace up there. There are 4 members of the Rattlers sent to deal with them. Galley possibly with a miracle still here on this Infernal Drake, but that silence from Amato is going to be such a hindrance. Don't know if there's... No, it's not going to be possible to get in there for that steal. And more gold from those towers going into the pockets of the bandits. Maybe something in this jungle as Boat Chicken gets hit with the Shadow Assault. But Galley gonna be heading for the hills here. Cannot commit when he knows how many bandits are in that jungle.
so many of them as well, and Galvanekis is just trying to get some damage, trying to get some things done, but that Soraka is close, and notably Kumi is close as well here. And it might just be a little bit too difficult for Galvanekis to find a kill with some easy gold in here.
Oh, Andy, the absolute mad lad out there right now has been everywhere. And now that tier 1 and tier 2 towers are gone in the top lane, Yorick becomes unhinged. He becomes unlocked. He gets to go wherever he wants to go. And that has got to be scary for the rest of the Rattlers who haven't had the privilege or the pleasure of dealing with Andy yet this game. Gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna possibly deal with them, because not a lot of DPS yet. Yes, not like Jackie Love has that Krakens, but the follow-up damage, the follow-up lockdown is not gonna be enough. The main CC that we've seen work so far from the Rattlers, it has been the Arrow and the Encore, but I still don't think that the Rattlers have enough damage to finish them off in that time.
Oh, some slow to Jackie left, but we're not quite able to lock that one up. And just being able to continue to farm up gold, those towers being down for the Rattlers side is opening up so much of this map, allowing for everyone on the blue side to continue to just farm safely, push up where they need to. It is insane to see just how much extra space both Kumi and Andy Gwen are able to get, because just tier 1 towers are gone.
Yeah, mid tier 1 is about to go down as well too, and if this map wasn't already opened up, it definitely is now. Galley comes over the wall, but again, we haven't been able to see the big commits from this Talon. There just hasn't been an angle. These bandits have been so good at covering themselves, following up, and also getting themselves quite a lot of gold here in this game to get themselves looking strong. But Kumi in the realm warp will say, see you later, Galley. Not going to deal with you quite yet. Again, only 22 minutes in this game. The Rise, yep, they have the Leandries. Oh, wait a minute. Potentially in the mid, but yeah. Doesn't want to exchange the Rise Talon yet. However, you know who does want to exchange? It's Bo Chicken back again. Beautiful flash away from the arrow. Does get hit by the Encore. Rattlers plays it safe. They back on out to safety and cannot deal with these bandits running around in their jungle. You're seeing the vision too, starting to get taken over here. Thankfully, you do have the sweeper from Gent that is going to be able to clear out that ward in the jungle, but it immediately gets put back there. So as I was making my point, it was absolutely wiped out. But this is going to be the process here. Now that those main towers are gone, the vision line will just continue to be pushed up here. We've seen every single dragon go over to the bandits. They are on Soul Point right now for Infernal. Baron's on the board as well too. And with that vision control, bandits should be able to get themselves, again, into a position where they can safely secure both of those objectives and then look for a close here. Becky, what's going to be the angle here from the side of the Rattlers if they can close? Will it be a trade here from... No, Galley lives with 12. No, he doesn't. He goes down. Oh my goodness. Just a little bit of damage on the tail. Will pick him off. Kumi, though, getting chased down by 3. And finally gets jumped on. The wish will not be enough. Bo Chicken looking to trade it back. That shutdown does eventually go to not Jackie Love, but Bo Chicken is on the run. 3v1. Can they get to safety? 33 HP. They go golden with the stopwatch, but it'll only be temporarily. They will get taken out. Red Door and Amato showing up to this bot lane as well. But Becky?
I mean, Becky? Honestly, we're doing it.
You want to know what else is being done? Look at Baron Pit right now.
Yeah.
What is Andy doing? What is he on this game, Becky?
On winning the game for my team. We kind of said it before this match even started. We were like, you know who's going to be an absolute menace? It's Andy Gwen. I mean, unfortunately, that Vi and the Rise aren't going to be getting that Baron buff by the Yorick who just soloed it at 25 minutes. But that certainly goes to tell you the strength of the whole Breaker, Cyrilda's Grudge, and Divine Sunderer finished at this 25-minute mark for this Yorick. 700 gold bounty, and that is certainly for a very good reason.
This is getting a little ridiculous out here. Solo drag at 24 minutes. Andy is on absolutely gasoline tonight. This is amazing to watch. Though, This from the Rattlers gonna be a little risky. I love the attempt here to try and deny this soul drag, but it is gonna be secured by Galley. Gent, though, caught in the middle of everything. That's gonna be the cease and desist all the way to the back line. Bo Chicken looking for more, and the bullet time cleans it up. Let's hear some snaps around for the Bandits. They clean up 4 kills. They lose none. Top tower going to be going down next as well, too. TSF Royal in some major trouble. They're in the cage. And now the Kumi using the TP to get up there as well, too. That's the ace. Bandits cleaning it up. They unfortunately do not secure Soul. That was a nice little steal from Galley. But, Becky, this could potentially be it right here, right now.
And I think that they will. Those Baron buffed minions from that solo Baron take are going to be more than enough. An early start was not able to be garnered by the Rattlers, and so the game will be going a Bandit's way in a pretty swift fashion.
GG, Bandits. Clean it up again. They look so good out there. I'm honestly, Andy, what was Andy doing out there? Oh my goodness. That is, again, one of the reasons why I dislike playing against the Yorick. I love having one of them on my team, especially when they look like Andy Gwen. Incredible performance out there.
Incredible performance, so much damage. You can see that 22k over the course of a 25-minute game. Highest for the opposing side was not Jackie Love with 11k. So quite a bit of a difference between these two teams and the damage that is dealt. I mean, you can certainly say that a lot of that damage is just like Andy Gwen as Yorick wailing on a Scion, which certainly is true. But at the end of the day, that Yorick being able to get that big, that one, basically a 1v4 that Andy Gwen did at like 15 minutes, I think solidly was enough to tell that Bandits were just in such a solid, good position, had this unkillable monster. And unless we saw Rattlers make it to like 45 minutes into the game where you just see, hopefully not Jackie Love cross your fingers, is able to mow through people, it just was not going to end up being enough. And so, solid game from Bandits and just great execution and great reaction to what Rattlers tried to make happen early.
Absolutely. Why don't we go ahead and bring it back to our analyst desk, see how Thunder feels about the absolute mad lad Yorick.
Gurf, I understand.
Wow.
Becky, Becky, you called it. Am I muted? No, I'm not muted.
No, you're here. You're here.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, Becky, you called it. That was an Andy diff. To Gurf, you called it. Yorick is apparently the worst thing in the world to play against, even if you're doing pretty decently across the map. Doesn't matter. Andy Gwen did in fact win lane and just won the map.
Yeah, I would solidly say so. I mean, when you get to solo Baron, like I'm saying at 25 minutes, but that's like a round up. It was realistically at like between 22 and 23 minutes was that solo Baron take from this Yorick. So
there's
good job, Andy Gwen.
I think a lot of that speaks for itself. Again, we had some of this last week. You know who the MVP is. I'm not gonna say anything, but chat, That being said, that's a very good start for the Bandits. They have picked up where they left off last week. So, you're feeling strong, you're feeling good. And again, we had a little bit of a substitution in the jungle. I'm gonna be honest, I was unaware of it. So we ended up catching that. And honestly, the Vi, we can ignore what happened on the bottom side of the map because I think they decided they had just won the game already. So they said, hey, we can do whatever. But the Vi seemed pretty effective over on the early game, mainly in just not letting Gent play the game.
So one of the beautiful things about picking up something like the Vi, I mean, we picked the Vi before the Nidalee, but Vi is just both such a good engage and disengage champion. If you're trying to pick somebody off, cease and desist. If you're trying to stop somebody for wailing on your carry, cease and desist. Vi is just good in either one of those situations, and we actually got to see Boat Chicken do a really well-timed Q knockup onto the Nidalee that had just landed a spear and was trying to go for that pounce, like,
Right.
very early in the game in a fight bot lane. And from, like, that moment, I was like, this Nidalee is not going to be able to do anything. Like, if you, whether it was luck or not, seeing that happened and that like, pounce was stopped and that we weren't able to finish the MF off as a result of it, I was just like, unfortunately, this Nidalee is not going to be able to get a whole lot done if we have a Vi that is aware enough and at least like being proactive enough to
Mhm.
stopping things like that.
And it worked. And I'm flashing back to York was taking red buff. The rest of the team was taking blue buff. Nidalee is just wandering between the chickens and the wolves going like, okay, I guess I can't farm at level 4 when the York's level 8. That was just brutal. It felt like a clinic Gurf. And I don't know. I mean, if you're Rattlers, I guess that's a GG go next, but it's also like, okay, we have to have a serious discussion about the drafts maybe.
Again, high risk, high reward.
Mhm.
But what we didn't see was the execution coming through. I think it was one moment where, yes, Galley, when that talent gets going, it can be so impressive, but we just didn't see the step up to make that happen. I think we've already talked enough about the Nidalee, but again, requires a
Mhm.
lot of early game resources to get rolling. And when you've got multiple sides of your jungle being invaded, you lose early red and blue buff. Like, it's tough not to say a GG, but
Yep.
it's really hard to pull yourself back from something like that. It essentially forces you to go into the jungle and power farm until 20-25 minutes.
Yeah.
But we saw Gent coming back out, uh, spending a lot of time in the bot side, not really being able to accomplish much. Meanwhile, Yorick up top takes tier 1, takes Shelly, takes tier 2, has like level 16, level 17 by 24 minutes. So, like, what is the possible outcome to try and deal with that? At that point, I think it's gone too far, and Andy had an incredible game. And the rest of the Bandits, too, also really stepped up.
Mm-hmm. And it was, oh yeah, overall, Bandits, they're feeling good about it. Not to say this was the expected result, but it feels pretty expected. Our MVP vote is still ticking down. We have just a little bit of time left, so we'll get into that as soon as that is over. If you're watching, you haven't voted in Twitch chat, go vote in it. But we'll go ahead. We'll move on very briefly. Yes, right where Becky is pointing. I always point in the wrong direction. My camera is flipped, and I don't know why. But that's besides the point.
I never know which
Unicorns.
way to point.
Hey, I think you got it right on the first try, which
I got it
unfortunately
wrong
did not.
earlier, which is why it was right this time.
There you go. Learning from our mistakes, people. See if Rattlers can do that. They got 2 more games tonight. But Unicorns, they are now coming into our game number 2. We have their match reported in from their match against the Razorbacks, and they lost. So Unicorns coming into game 2 off of a loss. We don't have info for Hammerheads as of yet, but that is going to be our next matchup. Unicorns, they were the 2nd seed out of Group B. So far, Group B, from reported matches, they are 0-2. Again, Becky, this is not to dunk on your prediction at all. Just keeping the people updated. All right.
It's okay. You can dunk on my predictions. I mostly make predictions for the sake of chaos anyway.
Look, I am but a host. I'm not the smart one here. I leave that to the 2 of you. Okay. Again, I am just informing the people. But again, Unicorns, they're coming in. It is going to be up against the Hammerheads. We will be keeping you updated as quickly as we can coming into this matchup. But just, first sniff at this Gurf. How are we feeling? What are we looking at? Actually, we saw last week a completely bonkers KDA for one of our MVPs. It was like 17-3 and like something ridiculous. 3-0-1.
This
for our
doesn't
MVP.
this doesn't look crazy, but it's every other factor that was crazy.
Exactly.
No,
it's it's I mean that's the goose egg there. That's a good goose egg you want to have, but no, exactly. Becky, you're exactly correct. It was all the other pressure. I mean, you don't have to kill anybody, you don't have to die as long as you just don't let them do anything, and that's exactly what Andy Gwen did.
Yeah, can't do damage if you're dead. What can I say? I mean,
Mhm.
3-0-1. You're looking at it's like, yeah, it's pretty dang good there. But honestly, if the graphs weren't broken still after coming out of custom games, I'd love to see the actual damage they did to objectives. That's
Right.
really the big one there. That's Andy Gwen was just all over the entire game. Just took over the top lane, and not really too much you can do after that point where you're losing tons and tons of resources, tons and tons of space. That was the big one though. Was the space was just taken away there from the Rattlers. Bandits took over, and they kind of swept up that game.
It's hard to play the game when you're not allowed to play the game. But again,
Yes.
again, we have harped on it plenty. Again, Bandits up. They're continuing. They're now on a 4. It might be a 5-win streak. I think that previous week they didn't on a win as well. It might be a 5-win streak, something around that. It's at least 4, which is pretty good. We're gonna see if they can continue that. But again, Unicorns, Hammerheads. What's kind of Gurf? What's your first sniff of this? How are we feeling about this matchup?
Unicorns did show a lot of improvement last week. They were one of those 3-3 teams in Group B, but definitely stepped up. I think again, having Feathers and Fur at the head of a team that looks already pretty decent coming into the early weeks of this split have definitely taken themselves to new heights. So I really am looking forward to seeing how they perform. On the other side, Hammerheads, a good team initially at the start. They've got a lot of good players, but have been somewhat on a decline in terms of performance. So either way, you got one team that was kind of a weak starting out, but have ramped up. Another one that looks strong, was strong at the very start. Unfortunately, a little bit of a decline. We got potentially intersecting lines here, and that's where they get to clash. That's where we get to see, do they bounce off each other? Do they both boost each other up, and we get to see a banger game? That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll have to see.
Okay, Becky, we're gonna come to you briefly, but I have a very important update. The Lions have just taken down the Crusaders.
That's cap.
Lions, I repeat,
That's
have
cap.
just
Wait, wasn't
taken-
that actually predicted
No.
on the?
Did Night Train predict that?
The Night
Oh
Train-
my
If Night Train
god.
predicted that, I'm gonna call Cap. Show me the PayPal's.
Oh no, okay, no, okay.
Okay,
For some
good.
reason, I think I was just like really focused on this other loss that I felt like made no sense, and then I might have saw this other Lions win that's on the 3rd section, and then just
Yeah.
like my brain just became mush and jumbled by that point.
Understandable. Okay, but anyways, that's not what we're talking about. We'll go
Wow.
to Hammerheads real quick before we end up taking our break. Look, the Lions are coming up later in the day. We can talk about that again. It's the game after this. We'll talk about it then. But like, give me your stuff. How are we feeling about the Hammerheads? Which, that's now. I wasn't saying anything about your Group B predictions. That's the king of Group B that's fallen. We'll see. Hammerheads, they're the Group A contender here, Becky. How are we feeling about them? Again, we have the lines crossing a little bit. Do we think they can maybe adjust their, downwards-ish trajectory?
See, this I do think that this is probably going to be our closest game that we're going to have on stream today, based on looking at these teams, the average elos of players, and the type of champs that they play. I think that this is looking to be the most closest across the board. Normally I have been very impressed by this Sniper Borica and ADHD graphics side for the bottom of Hammerheads. I've also been very impressed with Melly G in the mid lane. And so I think that those 3 players have impressed me so much that I still think that it's going to end up going Hammerhead's way, even if Unicorns have looked impressive and really started to ramp up. But I'm a little, I think it's going to be a close one. I think that it is going to come down to a single team fight where one team is able to eke it out. That's how I imagine it's going to go, based on both. Even though that I'm impressed with those 3 players, they are all pretty late game players. Melly G likes to play a lot of those late game mages. Sniper Borica likes to play a lot of late game AD carries. I mean, pretty much every AD carry is late gamey, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And pairing that along with how kind of even these teams look, I'm expecting it to be a close game, pretty slow to start, and then ramp up later into the game.
Well, hey, we always like some fireworks at the end. It's a great way to end the night, but of course, that won't be the end of the night. We'll have one more game after that. And again, Hammerheads, they have yet to wrap up their game yet. Players not in the lobby yet, but we will take a very brief break. We'll be back in just a few moments to continue our coverage of the VAD. Don't go anywhere.
強く強く輝いて消えた流れ星ほら命が燃える何かに怯え走り続けたその虚しさの指示何を見て何を探してきた自分の声がただ響く幾千万の星の中で惹かれて出会った守り手たちよ回る回る時の輪の中で自分の弱さ強さの先に同じ空誰かが見上げてるそう信じて消されない虹の奇跡が届けと冷たい指で涙拭ったあの日にはもう帰れない水平線目指して飛び立つ自分の願いを抱いて幾千万の星に呼ばれ交わりすれ違う守り手たちよ回る回る時に抗って未来を願ってもいいですか儚さから目をそらした繰り寄せる道の兆しの向こうかける希望あなたの光あなたの命いたずらに知らさないようにそっと触れた記憶胸に熱く灯し約束の地へもう繰り返らずに恋願う歌は空高く世界に銀河に広がってくそれがいつか風となり消えて新たな日が始まる越えてゆく時の輪の中で確かに刻みつけたきらめき同じ空誰かが見上げてる信じたから消されない虹の奇跡残した
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the desk. So, again, just some updates. Of course, we are going to be going into Unicorns versus Hammerheads. We talked about that a little bit, but the other results are pouring in as we speak. Notably, Hammerheads did also just lose to the Dragons. So, Unicorns, Hammerheads, they both just came off a loss. Guess what? Their one loss streak is getting snapped instantly. We'll see which one it's going to be. The Vipers, of course. I know that this is the one that y'all want to talk about the most. Vipers beat the Sharks 1-0.
Yep. They did it.
Surely there's nothing else that's absolutely bonkers to us. Like, all right, look,
I found it. I pulled up the match history here. This is absolutely shocking to me. Again, we came into the split. Lions They're like,
We
"Okay,
can
good
show
team."
the game, the end game screen, so we can go
Oh,
on this journey together.
I wonder. That's a
While we're
fantastic
getting
question.
that set up,
Okay.
but yes, chat for
Bless,
anybody who
thank you.
wasn't here. Yeah, for anyone that wasn't here for our bit of our PSA, the Lions, the second from the bottom team out of Group A, just took down the Crusaders, who were 9-0. It didn't look particularly close at all when they played anybody else in Group B. It was kind of a raw. It was, again, I don't want to be too rude. It was kind of a raffle stomp. It was, they were having a breeze. And
Like
yeah,
a sub or something that's like a
I
god
don't-
gamer.
I don't. I mean, maybe it's Scorpio Darkwood down there on the Tristana. I don't know, but either way, that like Scorpio's the one that popped off. Cheesky popped off. I mean, if we look at the post game screen again, I know it's not pulled up right now. We're in the process of it. It just looks kind of like a team effort out of the Lions taking down the Crusaders. So
I love a team effort. So
yeah, Becky, I want to get. Our
oh, it's
producer does
okay.
not have-
I'm sorry I asked for a very difficult thing. That's my bad.
I can acquire it. I can acquire it.
Yeah, I'm looking like Cheesky had it was Garen. No, wait, where was that Garen? Sorry,
Pantheon.
wait, no, they were running a Garen top.
Wait.
First of all, spin to win, baby. Let's go. Pantheon jungle, Mordekaiser mid, and the Tristana Braum in the bot side.
That's
First of all,
beefy team composition.
beefy team, 25 assists on the Braum, which is super insane. But everybody had an amazing game. 8-4, 14 on the Pantheon, 6-3 and 4 on the Garen, 7-2 and 9 on the Mordekaiser mid, and
Yes.
8-3, 13 on Tristana. So
Holy smokes.
yeah, Lions coming out of nowhere. What the heck, guys? This is awesome to see. Like I am surprised, but super glad that we get these crazy upsets like this. This is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and notably, this looks like it was. If
Yeah,
I'm
it
reading this
does
correctly,
look like it too.
that's a Mordekaiser mid
Mhm.
into Zillion mid.
Bonk.
So
Bonk.
I think we can
Wait,
see
wait,
about
wait.
So, but I will say, notably, Gurf, this is something that we talked about briefly last week. One of these teams has grievous wounds, and the other team doesn't. And the team that doesn't have it is the team into 4 meatballs.
I keep saying it. It's a crucial thing to have in your kit. At least somebody
Mhm.
please have it.
Well,
But
you
yeah,
have 3 people with it for the side of Lions, so that certainly does make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, again, just looking at some notable things here. Seraphine banned away by the Lions. Fiddlesticks also banned away by the Lions, so a little bit of a power pick here. Good dragon control from the Lions as well. It seems like, it looks like looking at this overall, Lions prioritize the dragons. I don't think we can tell what soul there was here, but Lions picked up 4 dragons. On the other side, Crusaders picked up 2 heralds. Looked like the dragon pickup seemed to be at least a little bit more effective. Again, we didn't have the game to exactly watch, but
Yeah.
we're dissecting what we can, at least from this graphic here. But hey, maybe it was that infernal soul, maybe it was an ocean soul, so they could just heal up just basically infinitely. So again, this was one of those, we can't quite get a complete grasp of the game, but this shakes things up in terms of the standings, most certainly.
Goodbye, my Group B prediction.
Hey, that was only the first round. We got
That's
again.
only the first round. That's true. But for my top team to go down to a bottom 3er, oh boy. Okay. Well, there's more games. There's more games for tonight. Let's
There's
go.
more games.
Let's go.
Just
Group
take
B.
the
Come on.
copium.
Yep. I'm over
Alright.
here.
yeah,
But
really
again,
well done.
Yeah, so kudos to the Lions. We are going to be seeing them, of course, later in the day. The Vipers are on a pretty solid win streak as well. Head-to-head collision there. This could be. Vipers had the turnaround last week. Lions might have the turnaround this week. This could be. Who knows? This could be the battle of the 2, sleeper title contenders. You never know. I might be overhyping things a little bit. Upsets aren't the most uncommon thing to happen in the world. That said, again, Hammerheads versus Unicorns. I mean, in both of these games, I will say Hammerheads took Dragons to what looks like a 43-minute banger. Unicorns did not have the luxury of said banger. Got pretty unceremoniously taken care of in 26 minutes by Razorbacks. You know what, Gurf, I want to ask you this question. Would you rather lose a 40-minute slog or just get wiped off the map? What's going to have your better, what's your mental going to be better as at the end of those games?
End my pain quick, please. Just get it done. Just get it done.
Yeah, it depends. Did I win or lose lane in this 40-minute slog?
Right.
Yeah.
If I've been losing games since like 5 minutes and I just had to play for an extra 35 minutes after like getting first blooded, I'm done. My mental, not good.
That's it for the night. GG. Go next, of course. But again, overall, I mean, these teams, they're still roughly equal on standings. I don't think this is one, we talked about this towards the beginning of the day. This is probably going to be one of, if not potentially our most even matchup of the night. I think that still absolutely stands. So I'll ask you kind of some of those same questions that we looked at for Bandits and Rattlers, although this time maybe a little bit more, there might be a little bit more contention involved. But I mean, Gurf, you've talked about Feathers and Fur. How do we feel about the Feathers and Fur versus the Sigma NA match? Or I'm going to be honest, I don't know how you say that next. Signa.
I kind of blended together too, so it's all good.
Yep.
Honestly, Feathers and Fur, solid player, consistent player. That is the big thing that stands out for me. And also knowing that Feathers, from what I've heard over the years too, big in terms of the shot calling. So again, I'm expecting the three big ones, Alawai, Ornn, Urgot, are generally the bread and butter, plays them extremely, extremely well, but also allows them with that comfortability on the champ to be offering those shot calls to their team. I would say potentially sided to Feathers, just depending on what Sigma plays. I would say Sigma, a little bit more aggressive, pixel spicier picks, and if they are able to get rolling, if they do find an early solo kill, Sigma will take that lead and absolutely run with it. But against Feathers, that is going to be a little bit more difficult. Knows how to play super safe, but also knows how to punish back. If Sigma gets a little too overzealous, we'll send it back to over on Feathers and Fur, and we'll also take that lead, and also knows how to run with it.
Well, wonderful. I mean, hey, we saw a top laner take a lead and run with it in the last game. We might just, might just be the top diff day. We'll have to see. But let's say Becky for the side of Hammerheads. Again, they lost, but it looked, looking at the stats on this game, Melly G was actually 11-4-10 on the Silas. So if we're looking at somebody that kind of pulled them along in this game, that's definitely where we're looking at. So how are we feeling about the Hammerheads?
I mean, Melly G, I think, is certainly the person to watch for this team because pretty much any game you look at, Melly G has like the most kills on the team. Right. It usually ends up getting to double digits if the game goes long enough. And certainly is like one of those star players for this team. So I think is going to be the person to watch going forward. It is the person who's trying to just like win lane and kind of snowball for the team, as well as has a huge champ pool. Can play pretty much anyone. Right. Across the last like 3-4 games has played like Silas, Echo, and LeBlanc, which are not like very similar characters. Right. So has the ability to play a very wide variety of different champions into this mid lane. And I think that is like one of the strengths that we have there. Sniper Borka very commonly is like going onto this Twitch, which I really like, actually. I think that Twitch is another one of those characters that if you can just like get to a point where people don't know how to deal with a character that goes invisible, you just get to run over a bunch of people. Right. And if you're not prepared for that, all of a sudden you can really start to see a huge shift in how everything is going to end up functioning for your team. So I think that we're really going to be focusing Melly G. Can Melly G get ahead? Is Melly G going to be making things happen on other parts of the map? Are we going to be seeing a teleport, or are we going to be seeing an ignite and trying to really focus on Melly G's own lane or helping out the rest of the team? This is a situation where I think Melly G is going to potentially have to help out the team a little bit more than normal. And then it is also going to very much hinder on, do we see Dream go for something that is a more impactful jungler that's going to be ganking a lot early? I would like to see that. But I also am understanding if that doesn't happen, and I think Seraphine should always be banned. If you have somebody who's getting a Seraphine things are looking a little bit dark. You just don't ever want to play against it. I know that like they have a game where they beat a Seraphine. We just saw Seraphine get beat as well, but that character is just so strong for so little and makes navigating team fights really difficult. So I think that is something that I would want to get rid of, but it might just be a situation where again we need to see how the draft goes out because the draft can tell us a lot. I'm not going to toot me and Gurf's horn, but we predicted a lot on the draft alone from the last game. So, just saying.
You did call it pretty perfectly, and I'm going to put you all now on the hot plate. Becky, predict now. Who do we think is taking this one? Give me your prediction.
I gotta go Hammerheads. I gotta go Group B. Come on, let's try. Let's see.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, wait, okay, sorry. Unicorns are Group B.
Unicorns are Group B.
Might be. But I do think Hammerheads are gonna take this one.
All right.
I think Melly G is just so strong. And Sniper Borka plays Twitch, and Twitch is one of my favorite champions. So that's really all I'm thinking.
Gurf is okay.
Hold on, it's back.
Wait.
Okay, hold on, Becky. Keep talking. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm
right.
trying to finish Gurf's Hammerhead Shark, and I actually made a very bad. Oh, we got
it. Looks like
actually is really cute.
It looks like a hammer, like an actual hammer. You actually got that one. So you know what? I think.
Bonk.
Absolutely, yeah. I gotta say Hammerheads too. I think Unicorns have shown a lot of promise. But yeah, a lot of strong players on Hammerheads too. So I'm hoping they can step up. I will mention them more in draft too. But for Zia, if anyone on Unicorns is going to be stepping up and looking huge, yeah, that ADC has been performing massively. So I won't count Unicorns out, but yeah,
Hammerheads it is. Well, the analyst desk is united. I refuse to give my opinion because, quite frankly, I refuse to ever potentially be wrong. But the two of you,
you're no fun. I'm wrong all the time, but I'm also right a lot of the time. I just make a lot of predictions. I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. I eat the one that sticks to the wall because that's how it's supposed to be.
You eat the spaghetti on the wall. All right, you know
what?
No,
I take it off the wall to eat it.
Okay,
then I add
all right.
the sauce.
We're getting. Okay, you know what? y'all get in the nitty gritty of eating wall spaghetti. Instead, we're gonna go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of draft. Gurf, Becky, the teams want to get into it. Take it away.
All right, I just took a bit of Monster. I'm ready.
Yeah, we're fueled up. Definitely. I wish we could be sponsored by some sort of energy.
That would be nice.
One day.
Here's your chance. Victoris.
Come on, Monster. What are you doing? Come on. We are Gasoline. Actually, we're Gurf and Becky. Welcome back, and thank you so much, Thunder, for breaking those down and talking about those games. But we are immediately into this draft for game number 2 here between Unicorns and Hammerheads. You see already those big picks I talked about against Feathers and Fur. The Alawai will be taken off the board. Sniper, though, has performed quite well with the Twitch, so I'm not too surprised to see that banned away. Miyanki with their Lulu has been also quite a monster. And you know what? I have been liking the Lulu quite a lot. It's an enabler. Good. It's just so good. Whatever comp you want to throw it in there. What we had as a fourth? Lulu.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Seraphine. You don't have to do a whole lot. You just have like a very powerful ultimate, and if you just like are using your ultimate at the right time and hitting your shields when you need to hit them, the downside to Lulu is you actually have to aim where your shield goes, unlike Seraphine. So there's a little bit of a difference there, but I am genuinely surprised. When we started off with this Echo ban, I thought Unicorns were going to go straight 3 mid lane bans, and they've actually spread it out a little bit. I appreciate that they're respecting the Twitch, but I maybe would have liked to see if it got through the first 3. And Verzia going for the MF, I kind of would have liked to see Jinx more, but I understand that it's a scarier first pick. And Verzia, like, being able to pick up something like that Jinx that we see, like, from the stats of previous games has been insane. That's just, like, such a crazy champion for team fighting. Like, I'm sure MF is a crazy champion for team fighting, too, but not in the exact same way. So I'm very interested by this decision-making here.
I wonder if we just get Ash Seraphine here again, just run it back from draft number 1. But
maybe
they could potentially, it wouldn't be bad here, honestly. But the misfortune is more, I would say, a takeaway from Sniper Borka. That
Yeah.
is their main, like, just go ham kind of champion there. So Snipers, Misfortune. Unfortunately, we will not get to see it tonight, but I'm excited to see Razia, like you mentioned. Spicy on the Jinx? Question mark. We'll get to see the Misfortune very soon, but wow, we get a little bard running around. ADHD graphics. I can't see it going anywhere. You know what? I won't count out the possibility of Melly G running a bard mid, but most likely,
We
like
can just take my
99%
camera off.
chance
I
that's
can't
going to
continue to
ADHD.
fake my like crazed facial expressions every time one of these picks happens.
There's very, very low chance that is something that they actually do, but spicy pick regardless. Lots of roams are going to be coming through, which does maybe raise some concerns. Is Sniper
I
going to
think
be
we should
okay?
just pick Seraphine here. Come on, it's so strong. If you have an Amumu, it's so good with the Mumu.
Oh yeah, they got. Wait a
What?
minute. Wait a minute.
That's not Seraphine. That's close, but it's not Seraphine.
it's okay, I would say. But yeah, in this case, I'm with you, Becky. Why not just pick Seraphine instead of the Sona?
I'm like racking my brain trying to decide under
Both
what
kind of doing one of these. Look
situation.
at this.
Yeah, maybe Amanaki has never played Seraphine before. That's literally the only. But even if you have one game on Seraphine, I think Seraphine is always a better pick than Sona until they like buff Sona into Oblivion.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. But sure, okay, Sona is gonna be the pick. And Camille, very scary. I'm still so thrown back by this Sona pick that I can't even like start to talk about Camille.
Again, and then shout out to our producer too for dropping the hints here for us. A little bit of extra heal. You're gonna get a little bit of extra heal from the Sona, but again, the long range poke and picks you can use with the Encore, I think, are way
Yeah,
better than the
especially
Crescendo.
yeah.
It's so much shorter range, so it's gonna be, I think, a little bit tougher trying to keep your MF or other members alive here. Again, it's just even in chat there too from Foamy Mess, Seraphine is just better Sona, so
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of a loss out on that one, but we'll have to see. I know we're gonna keep doing some of these here. You know what?
So
Maybe Amiyaki just pops off on Sona, gets a pentakill this game, and we're all just gonna be shocked here. But hey,
it is a
never
lot
mind.
easier to hit your poke on Sona. It's a little bit easier to kind of pinpoint where your damage is going. Barely. You do have to get up into people's faces to do. Okay, 2 more mid bands gone, so good. I like trying to limit what Melly G is going to be able to do and taking out 2 assassins, especially now that you've picked up Sona that is so vulnerable.
Squishy, yes.
Certainly makes sense. Saying, you know what, Melly G, we don't want you to just come into bot lane and murder our support on repeat, so we'll get these 2 out of here. Does this go to Melly G or is this going to be a jungle Karthus?
I think that's for Dream. He's even got an emote in our Twitch chat there as the Karthus raining the money. I think he's one of our top subs. But yeah, the guy rocks the Karthus. I'm excited to see that. That is going to be quite deadly with those Requiems, especially looking at you, Amiyaki, on the Sona. You're squishy. That's going to be a little scary to deal with. But definitely looking towards, I'm curious what runes that Dream is potentially going to be running here. Again, this does still hide their hand. It still could potentially be a Karthus in the mid lane. Doesn't fully reveal, okay, is this actually jungle or is this a mid? Still potentially gives Melly G a counter pick here because now we see the Swain coming through and potentially a top laner here for Feathers and Fur. Unfortunately, though, we saw in the bans, Alawai, Urgot, Ornn on the bench. Those were the 3 that I mentioned coming into this game. But hey, I'll fight. He's rock solid. That is definitely going to be influencing him in these fights. And I'm sure we're going to break down this draft a little bit more in a second. But team fight to the max here for Unicorns. Wombo combos all day. That is what they're going to be looking for. But the disruption factor that the Hammerheads have. You've got the Tempered Fate. You've got the Hextech Ultimatum. You've got the Crystal Arrow. So go ahead, start it up, try and make things happen because you're going to get slowed down and stopped maybe potentially. And then you're going to have Melly G on the Yone. Oh my God. Woo! It's spicy. We're going to spice another spicy draft, Becky. Let's go.
Okay, the Yone. I'm allergic to Yone. I had to sneeze. Actually, I'm very excited about the Yone pick. I think that this was probably one of the better picks that LEG could have made. I think that Yone is going to do a really good job of shredding through the portions of the team that you need to get to. Yone is pretty good at saying if MF is going to ult, I'm going to ult right back. That does put me literally on top of you. It stops your ultimate, and that's going to be a great way to try and take down Zia as well. So I quite like this Yone pick. I think I am a little bit worried that we don't have a lot of straight up engage for the Yone. Like Camille is kind of more of a reactive bruiser, is not so much like trying to be the person to jump. Well, is trying to jump in at the start, but doesn't have a lot of CC to jump in at the start, not in the same way that we see Vhagar or Feed or Feathers and Fur have in the form of Malphite and Amumu. And I'm staring at this Malphite and Amumu, and then I see Sona, and I'm like, oh, why isn't it a Seraphine? Encore would be so good into a jumped in Malphite and Amumu. It would literally go on for eons.
Mm-hmm. It would.
Maybe both
But
of
it
the
won't.
teams just agreed before this. They were like, you know what? Neither of us are gonna pick Seraphine. Gentleman's shake. Seraphine, not for us.
Yeah, 11th ban this game.
There we go. Yep.
Off the table. I think, this is something I've mentioned a lot too, Becky, is which team is being proactive, which team is playing their game. And I look at what the Unicorns have, and again, Wombo Combo is going to be the name of the game for them. They can initiate a lot of stuff. And in most cases, I would say, okay, well, how are Hammerheads going to deal with that when they are constantly they're having stuff thrown at them? But again, I think they have some really good answers to slow that down, to stop those big engagements, to stop that big damage. And especially eyes on ADHD graphics this game with those tempered fates. Those are going to be absolutely massive if they can be timed right? You can absolutely cancel out the bullet time. Malphite, if you can hit him before he actually goes in with his unstoppable force, sure, that just delays it a little while
Predictions of the
longer.
century.
It is, yeah, you know what? ADHD graphic, kind of sick out there. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And of course, the follow up with the Requiem, of course, that just gets scarier and scarier as the game goes on. And I, again, with you, Sona could be a good pick here. It could offer a lot of heal. That's another point, too. I'm sure we'll chat about it with Thunder on the way back in after this game, is going to be, do we see healing reduction, right? Swain, Sona, that's
you
a
have
lot
to
of
do
healing.
it fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this will be intense to watch. I do think that I like Unicorn's team composition better, but I do think that Hammerheads have the correct amount of reactive things. I think that Camille does a really good job of locking the important player, whoever gets fed, pretty much down. I think that actually the Karthus being able to say, you know what, if I die in a team fight, like I'm still going to be useful. Like that's better than a lot of other champions would have been in a situation where you're going to get blown up by a Malphite and an Amumu. So not a horrible pick there either, as well as Millie G on this Yone going to be able to hopefully kind of wiggle around things. And then Ash is just like, if you're going to have a bunch of tanks trying to fly themselves at you, saying, I'm hopefully going to be a kite god this game is one of the better options that you could have in the AD carry position. So, all things considered, I think that Unicorns in a vacuum have a stronger team composition. But I think that Hammerheads have done a good job of navigating how they're going to react to it. Now they just have to react correctly.
That's the big point, is reacting correctly, because if Hammerheads do falter here, the window for punishing any misclicks, any misses, can be jumped on by the Unicorns. There's a lot of stuff that they can use to say, oh, you missed your arrow. Guess what, Ash? How you doing? I'm in your face, and now you're back in base, and your screen is all of a sudden lost all its saturation. What the heck is that? That is going to be the case there. So I'm not going to count the Unicorns out. They're still a really good team. If they're able to find some windows, absolutely. If the Hammerheads are making mistakes out there and can't react properly to what is being thrown at them, yeah, Unicorns are going to be able to jump all over them. They've got a lot of squishy members over on the Hammerheads. Yes, there's a lot of damage across both sides of these teams, but it's going to be who comes down to executing just that little bit better. And for now, I'm going to still stick with Hammerheads on this one now. I make my prediction. I stick with my prediction. I even put some points down on it this time. We'll see how it goes. But Becky, any final points, thoughts, concerns about this upcoming game before we send it to break?
I'm not going to change my prediction, but I will say that I think the Unicorns won the draft, if by a little margin.
Mhm.
And I'm very excited to see how this game ends up shaking out.
I'm looking forward to it too. Well, folks, game number 2 is just around the corner. You do not want to miss this, but make sure if you got those channel points, give us a little prediction. Let us know there in the Twitchiverse, wherever it is I'm pointing at, who you think is going to win by betting on either the Unicorns or the Hammerheads. We will be right back onto the riff for our second game of this evening, so don't go anywhere, and we'll see you real soon. Wow, we're back again. VAD, week number 4, game number 2. All right, I've done my spiel here. Introductions are through, but we have got the Unicorns taking on the Hammerheads here in our week 4 crossover matches. Again, through the lineups here over on our blue side, Feathers and Fur up in the top lane. We got Vigar or Feed in the jungle, SP Pillars in the mid lane, Verzia and Amiyanki in the bot side. Over on the side of the Hammerhead, sitting on the red side, Sigma in the top lane, Dream Unforgiven on the patented Karthus jungle, Melly G on the Yone, and Sniper Borka along with ADHD graphics on the Ashe and Bard. Gonna be a banger game. Playing it quite safe. You ever see the 5-point defense coming out? No super deep wards here, but I think this one's gonna ramp up. Level 6s are gonna be crazy wombo combos, and the answer to those wombo combos is what we've got our eyes on. Becky, any standouts, anything interesting we're seeing from our players in our second game of the day here?
You know, we actually just saw Melly G go ahead and ping it, but there are 3 ignites for the red side of the map over here. We got the Bard, the Yone, and Camille not taking flash, just going ahead with that TP ignite strategy. So trying to do that dueling, trying to get ahead and keep that Malphite busy, and hoping that we don't get to see that Malphite TP anywhere too spooky too early as soon as we have that teleport unlocked.
Yeah, it is going to get a little scary out there. Currently scary for Amiyanki in the spot side. Ignite is up. ADHD graphics just going to flash forward. Picks up first blood. It's just that much of a pickup here, but graphics should be going down soon. Trying to get out of vision, but can't get to that final bush in time. And now we're left with 2 ADC. Sniper Borka with more health and more damage will flash her flash. First blood goes on over to the Hammerheads. Unicorns answer back, but it's going to be 2-1 for Hammerheads.
Yeah, all things considered, Amiyanki didn't actually use that exhaust, which could have made a pretty big difference there. Zia, though, never really had a chance to use that cleanse, so that cleanse is going to be a little bit of a feels bad here to start this off. And Sniper Borka and ADHD graphics with a lot of gold in their pockets to start things off. So that bottom lane certainly going to be looking into Hammerhead's favor at the start here.
I really love, though, that ADHD graphics. Yes, Bard does a lot of poke. Hold on, I'll come back to that thought. The roams are through, the electrocute, the ignite SP pillars ticking down, but Vicar Feed threatening that bandage toss will have to back away for now. Really good attempt on the early roam, but what stands out to me, rather than going for damage here, and this is something that was, so I learned along the way here in my path of League of Legends, early Kindle Gem, early health is such an OP stat, Becky. It is just so incredibly good, especially if we're going to see another trade between these bot laners. It is just going to have ADHD graphics winning out on top. Just having that extra little bit of boost there to the health bar is, I think, in my opinion, really, really sweet. Plus, you get 10% cooldown, so not too shabby as a start. So, love to see it. That's a great little start there for the bot side.
Yeah, I mean, you're mentioning health. You know what champion has the lowest base health in the game?
Sona.
Well, actually, does Yumi win
Dara now?
I actually think that
Yumi
has more health than Sona, but regardless, low health supports that you're facing down. So talking about the importance of having that extra boost in health coming from that Kindle Gem, certainly making a big difference. And considering that this Bard is off to a great start, Vigar Feed is around, but is also low on HP. But I mean, low on HP may not matter if you're able to get the jump on your opponents here. And ADHD graphics might get a little bit punished for being aggressive here in just a moment.
Yep, did not spot Vigar Feed coming through the bottom bush, coming into that second bush, and now stepping on up with the bandage toss, lands it on ADG graphics. I'm looking for the Bard tunnel here to absolutely nowhere. You're not going to be able to get out of that. Again, second bandage toss doing so well. See some trades happening up in the mid lane as well, but really well done from Vigar Feed to just slip on in there and at least get some resources back here for the side of the Unicorns. They bring it to 2-2, all tied up, and Sniper, unfortunately, going to be forced on back, taking some trades. Wait a minute. Taking a turret shot for Zia. Slowed on is down to just a little bit of health, and now one more auto should do it. Sniper Borka takes a 1v2. Can he survive? He will absolutely make it through. Sniper with the moves, and now Amiyanki with absolutely no mana is going to get hit up by ADG Graphics. Sniper gets a little bit of health back too, but for now they hold. I was getting a little excited there. I'm like, no way they can get both of them, but really well done from Sniper there.
Brazil was out too. Brazil was out of that situation and just turned back thinking that there was maybe a chance that we could do a little bit of extra damage to Sniper Borica, but didn't actually end up doing it. And I mean, what a great 1v2 coming out with a kill. Has that little bit of a bounty and is continuing to just kind of roll through this lane. Surprisingly is down on CS, but if you've got 2 kills, that kind of makes up for it in the end.
Yeah, not too bad. It actually only equates out to, I think, an extra 150 gold over on Misfortune, but sorry, on the Ashe. But hey, you know what? It's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off. It's just the mental games. They're getting in their heads, saying, "Hey, you think you're safe 1v2? No. I will find one of you. I will chase down one of you." So I love seeing these guys playing it out this way. A little trade in the top lane there. Sigma does take a turret shot. You saw that massive wave crashing into Feathers and Fur Tower there. Does a really good job of doing it. Honestly, Feathers, one of the best top lane CSers I have ever seen in my life. And I continue to bring up this stat just because of how bonkers is it. One of the times on his Ornn, 11.5 CS per minute. So realistically, this guy just knows how to farm extremely well, and even if he's in a non-winning lane, even if he's put behind, even if he's shoved under tower, somehow finds a way to keep up in those numbers.
I mean, but you're talking about Feathers and Fur being able to get those numbers, but Sigma actually has 3 ahead. It's not a lot, but being able to keep up with somebody who so reliably farms is quite impressive. As this Amumu coming back for more in this bottom lane. All of the summoner spells are ready, but the Bard Tunnel this time with a little more HP is going to be enough to save ADHD Graphics there.
Magical Journey works out this time. It's always a weird interaction seeing, you know, okay, do we hit him before he goes in? Do we hit him while he's in the Magical Journey?
Yeah.
I think the bandage toss came out just before he actually entered, so kind of brought Vigar feet along a little bit, but he's going to be returning again. Bandage toss is back up. That, oh my goodness. Magical Journey is also off a cooldown. I didn't think it was going to be back up in time, but Graphics playing safe, playing it a little scary down there, but for now is okay. Wouldn't be too surprised to see them roam, but again, you still have Vigar feet in the area and need to be cautious of another bandage toss. Melly G, though, trying for something on SP Pillars, but Demonic, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that
change it? No, it's not. Demon Flare is now popped. It is Demonic Ascension. I had it right the first time the name popped up. I'm like, wait a minute. No, they tried for something, not able to find it, but in the jungle right now, ADC Graphics getting lit up as Sniper will fend off the chase again, playing fast and loose with the Bard. A flash out of the bullet time there will keep Sniper alive. And once again, Hammerheads holding it down strong in the spot lane.
Yeah, I appreciate that Vigar Feed has said a team that is going to be, or a couple of players who are going to be difficult to defeat are going to be Sniper Borica if Sniper gets fed, and saying, you know what, I'm going to try and pay a lot of attention there. Oh, the ultimate coming out from Feathers and Fur, though. Very nicely able to secure that kill onto Dream. Unfortunate for the side of Hammerheads, who really just have a lot of their kill participation put onto that Ashe in the bottom lane, and deciding Unicorn's just trying to react with this Amumu.
Yeah, that was a nice little cutoff, I think, from Dream. Maybe a little overzealous on the invade. We're going to see Vigar Feed coming into the mid lane again, threatening now that they have the level 6. The Curse of the Sad Mummy is up. Don't want to get caught out underneath the turret there. But yeah, I don't know about the invasions as the Karthus. We saw if it was just him and Feathers and Fur, the Karthus damage was getting pretty nasty. But no, great little roam from SP Pillars to make sure that was cleaned up. For now, though, we'll see Sigma trying to trade some more into Feathers. But again, that mouth fight is just going to get tankier and tankier as the game goes on. And I'm question mark, where's the next gank going to be? Because we do see Dream back into their own jungle. Playing it safe for now, does have the Requiem available to them as well. I do believe every ult, almost every ult is available. We're waiting on Amiyanki and HD Graphics to get there as well. But potential roams here. Graphics is looking for more. I'm just not sure yet where the next one's going to be. I think for now, teams just want to play it safe. What do you think, Becky?
Yeah, and I mean, continuing to look at this bottom lane and now this growing gap, we only have 40 CS and Sniper Borica, and
Whoa.
a deep push in from
Whoa.
Melly G, who's taking a lot of turret damage, but will this
Alley-oop.
Requiem be enough?
Woo!
It will gather that Dark Harvest stack and gather that kill onto Swain, who falls a very nice engage. Had ADHD graphics there for the backup as well, and now it's going to allow for them to go for this Rift Herald, so a great engage all around, and feels good when your jungler is able to finish them off, despite whether it's an actual gank or not.
It's a gank from above, Becky. That's no way you get hit with the own ulti walking out like, yeah, I'm safe, and then Dream Unforgotten's like, no you ain't, no you ain't, picks up a nice little kill with the Requiem. But the big thing is, we see another Dark Harvest in the jungle. This time though, I think we're gonna see some more Dark Harvest tags actually being picked up here. Again, super great to land, as long as you're communicating with the team saying, hey, pop that Karthus, you should be able to get a kill here. Either way, we'll be picking up a lot of Dark Harvest kills, and that all just gets scarier and scarier. Now Leandri's Anguish has been completed too. The cooldown's going to be a little bit less on that R, which is it's pretty long. It's pretty long from the start. It's over 2.5 minutes, but more and more of that soon to come. But really well done from the Unicorns, knowing that just off of that R, probably going for a back to spend the goal. Dream is not going to be anywhere near able to pick up this first dragon quite easily at the 12-minute mark, and at least get them set up for potential future. So we'll have to see how the next ones start to go, because these team fights are going to get crazier and crazier as the game goes on.
Yeah, nice from Sniper Borica and ADHD graphics to immediately kind of back off there after the dragon gets taken, understanding that there's got to be a lot of people in the area, and slowly accruing more farm in this lane while waiting for the rest of the team, as we can see Dream Unforgiven in the area, but so is Vagar or Feed, and unfortunately ADHD graphics still doesn't have that ultimate, which could potentially be really terrifying for this bottom lane.
You know that scene from second Lord of the Rings movie where King of Rohan is like, so it begins? Well, here it goes. That's going to be the start off with a kill for the Hammerheads, but the triple Curse of the Sad Mummy locks down all these members over on the Hammerheads. They're able to at least trade back one. Tempered Fate will be flashed away by Verzia. I believe they go 1 for 2. Hammerheads picking up a couple of nice little kills there. At least, though, we do see some answer back from the Unicorns. Verzia, though, not going to let this one out for free. Threatening ADHD graphics, but again, Magical Journey, sending them to safety, says, see you later.
Yeah, it doesn't get to collect that pink ward, but that's okay. I like how Verzia is playing now that we've seen that Magical Journey go away from Sniper Borica and saying that I've got a little more HP than you and I'm looking to have this tussle. Unfortunately, though, that fate is working very nicely for Melly G. Ooh. Now we get to collect this pink ward.
Talk about sealing the fate there. What an absolutely pixel perfect ult there. I think just a toe of Verzia was caught out in that, but that is going to be enough. Melly G with the lovely little roam downtown makes it worth his time. So awesome stuff there. And one big thing I do want to point out, early Executioner's calling on the Yone. So that is something I asked for. I wanted to see Grievous Wounds, and it's already popped up. SP Pillars, though, gonna pop the Demonic Ascension, but it does not matter. Wait a minute. Whoa. All the way back. Viger Feed is sent on the express route to the back line. Oh, my goodness. The humanity, Becky.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation, thinking, oh, maybe I'll be able to catch out this Yone as he comes back from that that little journey. Unfortunately, is a worse journey for that Amumu. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in a 1v3, and off of that, we see that the Hammerheads are able to pop that Rift Herald and push through a ton of damage. 2 turrets down in the mid lane. That is so much map availability found. Oh, are we just going to leave Dream Unforgiven to die here?
I think that's the play here. Unfortunately, okay. Dream is going to go down there. Lovely little pickup, though, for the Unicorns, but Requiem... Okay. Not quite enough to finish off that Malphite. Feather's still going to be quite a tanky boy. But yeah, at that point, Melly G waving from the bush saying, sorry, friend, goodbye.
Yeah, I saw Melly G finish the back, and I was like, oh, we're just Okay, sure. I bet Melly G probably could have stayed and been able to win that, but instead just said, we'll just leave this.
Oh
As
my
that crystal
goodness.
arrow comes out.
Wait, the bullet time though does so
Beautiful
much
crescendo.
damage. Graphics goes down. Sniper on just a sliver of health. Can they finish him off? Do have the roam from SP Pillars, but I think Sniper Vorka should be fine for now. But that was a great little turnaround from the Unicorns there, not expecting the bullet time and getting punished for a little bit of over pushing, which, funnily enough, you thought the over pushing was going to be coming from Unicorns this game. No. It was a little bit over aggression. And then the Unicorns say, hey, you know what? We've got some damage of our own. Misfortune, gorgeous little ulti, and now Verzia has a Kraken Slayer too. So, going to be doing some extra damage in these next few fights. And Sigma, wow. That is a big Camille Q.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Divine Sunderer finished, so packing a big ol' wallop there, and really kind of punishing this Malphite for having left lane for a little while as well. Has increased that CS lead to about 30 plus now as well. So doing quite a bit on that Camille here, who's just being a little omnipotent despite the 2 kills gathered by Feathers and Fur.
Graphics playing with fire. He's playing pretty loose. He's pretty fast out there. So, yeah, takes a whole chunk of damage there. Verzia, not afraid to punish. Not a timid ADC to be sure. Has been playing, like I said before in the draft, incredibly well so far this split. But it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to attempt these trades, continue to attempt these punishes. And with Dragon now on the board, we see a few members from either side trying to make some attempt here. Both the top laners, though, with their TPs available, we could potentially see a massive fight start to break out very soon for this Ocean Drake.
I love when we finally move away from the little scuffles in top and you just see Feathers and Fur take a chunk of damage.
Oh.
And it's just a little bit of an ouch moment. But as you mentioned, both of those TPs are ready. And we see the Hammerhead starting up this dragon. It is an objective bounty for Unicorns, but that TP coming in. Oh,
wait
my
a
gosh.
minute. Little bit of anti-synergy. The Fate Steeled into the Tempered Fate. They went in at the same time. And Hammerheads, they're still going forward. Crystal Arrow will land. That's the Requiem down, and Sniper Borka picks up a kill. It's going to be another one for 2. Hammerheads lose Dream Unforgiven, but they pick up 2 more. They pick themselves up an Ocean Drake, and things are looking good. That gold lead extending to about 3.5k gold here at the 18-minute mark. Up an extra 4 kills there, but the big one is going to be those turrets. That's what I have my eyes on, is the first Rift Herald push was so well done. They got tier 1, they got tier 2 in the mid lane. And now potentially looking for more with Shelly. Is just going to keep funneling gold into the pockets of all these Hammerheads. And should be able to secure here, no problem. Feathers and Fur does come down to clear out that ward, so they know exactly where they are. Maybe they go for the chase. I don't know. I don't know quite yet. Hammerheads are looking quite hungry out there. But needs to be careful into Sigma here.
I smell some blood in the water, and so does Melly G as we are trying to see if we can catch Feathers and Fur here. So much damage between that Divine Sunderer and that Bork, but still not enough. Oh my gosh, can we kill this Malphite?
Nope, 2 rock solid. 2 rock solid for now, and not quite yet enough damage. Yeah, Bork's going to be nice for getting a bunch off, but you need a little bit more oomph in those autos coming through. Soon, TM will be coming. Divine Sunder finished off on Sigma as well too. It is going to be getting a little scary to deal with that Camille. Again, eyes on the top lane is going to be interesting because Malphite already has 2 kills, but we'll hold that thought for now because in the mid lane, Sniper lands the arrow. Graphics shows up behind with the Magical Journey, and this should just be a dead Swain right here. Graphics going to try and get this one over, but says, hey, you know what? I've committed at this point. This kill's mine.
Yeah, I also am a little bit concerned that Sniper went ahead with the flash to get that kill. We're not actually seeing that get pinged in chat, but I wish we were just spam pinging, especially considering that we see this Ashe from Sniper Borka has gone with the Kraken Slayer.
Tempered Fate on top. Bullet time, though, is going to clean it up, and that over-aggression, that hunger for the kill, is now biting Sniper Borka in the backside. That is, yeah, as soon as they know Ash with no flash, hey, guess what? We're looking for you. We're going to be coming for you. So, good punish from the Unicorns here. In the meantime, though, their top lane tower is going to go down. Sigma trading in with Fez and Fur, but Vigar Feed is up there as well, too. No ult available, so we'll have to see if they do decide to go for this little trade out here. Magical Journey being taken. We'll have to pan back up there, but both teams seem to part ways. G, though, a little bit hungry here. Oh my god, he does so much damage. Does not have the ulti available, and those turret shots getting a little sketchy out there, Becky.
Yeah, not to mention that we do see that if you committed any more, actually, Pillars probably would have just been able to Zonias and really wreak havoc on that fight. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow does miss there, but...
Oh, no, back in. Vigar Feed still without that ulti, but the double banded shots will follow up on a Dream, and that's another kill. We'll have to see if they're gonna go. They should just go for the Requiem. I thought Amiyanki was potentially in range there. Decides to save it for a more pivotal moment. And you know what? Not the worst of calls there, too, because we do have that Infernal coming up in just over a minute here.
Aww.
This is going to be another Infernal Soul that we get to see. And G with the sneakiest of backs this game, Becky.
Yeah, that could have been a little bit spooky. Unfortunately, we didn't go to check that little pixel brush, and instead, just able to clear out a ward, try to gather some of these jungle creeps, and move our ways back around the map. I hate seeing a turret this low. Just push it. Just kill it. It opens up so much of the map for you. How would you even... That's like one of my biggest pet peeves in League of Legends. If you see a turret that low, like, especially with a dragon about to be up, you should just commit as 5, take out that turret, get yourself that extra, like, vision equity, and then go for the objective. It's so close to dead. You don't have to even commit to it for very long.
Retweet, post to my own story as well, too. Yeah, 100%. Just finish it off. Mid-tower, especially for these dragons, it's so important to open up this map to try and be able to find some footing in these next dragon fights, but the fight might be started off. Graphics used the Temper Fate quite early, did find 2, but no follow-up is going to be used to try and finish that off. Playing it safe for a little while now, as both teams are doing the dance here. Infernal Dragon is on the board. G stepping on up, taking a bit of poke. Will be able to get back to the safety of his team. Meanwhile, though, you still have Sigma threatening any potential unicorns to step on up. At this point, with that Divine Sunder, with the finished Tiamat as well, too, those Qs are continuing to ramp on up, but this dragon going low. G over the wall, trying to find some members of the unicorns with that Fate Steal, but SP Pillars answering back, flashing forward with that Demonic Ascension going. Will they pop it? Yes, but they get popped themselves. Dream Unforgiven finding that kill, and Hammerheads. It's a question, do they want to chase here? They were able to secure the Infernal. Might be best to play it safe, but hey, if they can find a pick, that's going to be a nice little Bard Q in. But Feathers with the follow-up, Unstoppable Force into the bullet time. That is multiple members of the Hammerheads going down. Requiem answers the back, and Dream will get a double kill as they pick off Amiyanki there as well. At the end of the day, 2 for 3 in the favor of Hammerheads. Don't know if it's going to be a Baron here. At least the setup here on Herald, but hey, if they're feeling spicy, might as well send it.
Wow. I mean, that was like a perfect combo of that Unstoppable Force at the time where you would have been stunned by the Bard, timing it perfectly from Feathers and Fur, going in, timing it up with that bullet time, and somehow they still lose. There just isn't enough extra oomph to be able to finish off these players from the Hammerheads who are just rolling through here. They're gonna get the Baron on top of it all. This is just a rough spot to be in. To have executed that beautiful combination of ultimates there and still not being able to come out on top, you gotta be figuring out, okay, we need another ultimate on top of this. We need to make sure that Amumu ultimate is going in at the same time. We have to make sure that we're executing with a little bit more precision. Because you just need a little bit extra more, apparently.
A little bit more oomph, right? That's the thing. So much damage on the side of the Hammerheads right now. It is getting ridiculous up there. Up 7K, well, 6.5K gold if I'm doing proper quick maths here. It's getting scary out there. Dream is huge. Melly is getting up there. Yes, Sniper is, I would say a little bit behind in CS, but still offering lots in terms of the CC, the
It has
arrows.
been her Flame Horizons, but you know.
Yeah, a little bit. The way she goes sometimes. But it's just scary, the amount of damage. So I think you're right, Becky. There needs to be the full wombo combo here from the Unicorns if they want to stand a chance. I do want to follow up on your point about Feather's ult. It was beautifully timed like that. That was amazing. And I'm sure he's looking behind his shoulder like, team, please. Where's my team?
That's what I'm thinking.
Frizia's like, I got you. And also looking back, team.
Yeah.
So hopefully the follow-up can be there. But right now, the Temper Fate locks down the turret. Demonic Ascension will not save you. The Hextech ultimatum comes on down. And Dream is not going to pop them. Actually gets stunned up. Takes a few turret shots. Oh, that got a little spooky real quick there. Bot side, though, Melly G looking to trade onto Feathers and Fur. Going to be dealing with 3 members of the Unicorns there by themselves while the bullet time is popped in the top half of the map. Cleanse was used as well too, but Sigma gets on top of him. Send it again. Q again, baby. That's going to be another kill for Sigma. Gets the shutdown on to Misfortune. And now Hammerheads with the Baron buff on the base, taking down those inhibitor turrets. This is going to be a huge gold influx. And if the Unicorns weren't already in a tough situation, now with all this gold going in their pockets, they are going to be looking rough. Oh my god, Amiyanki. You know what? Well played. Good job, Soda.
You know, little victories, you know? We almost have this tier complete as well. We're so close. If we can make it in time.
2 more. That's like 2 more abilities, right? 1 more. 2 more. 1 more. Just spam your Q a couple times. You're going to be set. Oh my gosh. Woo. Well, I am thoroughly enjoying this game. This has been spicy back and forth. I hope everybody watching at home there on Twitch is also enjoying this one, but this is spicy. This is crazy. There's still a world of possibilities out here on the Rift. Who knows if Unicorns can manage to find that super duper wombo combo? Hey, all power to them. There are opportunities here for them to actually find those kills, but again, the damage is huge. That mid turret will finally get finished off there on the side of the Hammerheads, but with another dragon here in 24 seconds, yes, that does potentially line up a double Infernal for the side of the Hammerheads, and I don't know if Unicorns can let them have this.
Oh, you certainly cannot let them have this. Unfortunately, though, with those 2 mid-turrets down, you're in such a rougher situation of trying to establish vision dominance here that you have to understand that you're pushing into a whole lot of extra players to even try and have an understanding of where you can take this dragon fight.
That's going to be the question. If they can even make their way in here, because right now, Hammerhead's taking over this bot side jungle, already warding up, and already Dragon is down to half HP. Dream at this point is doing so much damn damage. Has 326 AP at this point, but it's the rate of those Qs. Sigma overplays their hand, gets caught out mid. Whoops. But
I mean, that's a good sign for the side of the Unicorns. Like they need just a few more of those things. And we've seen Hammerheads do it a few times this game where they've just like been a little bit too aggressive off the back of the Tempered Fate from the Bard, or just like committing a little bit too hard, being like, oh, I'm a Karthus, it doesn't matter if I go in and die, and kind of giving kills away for free. And if we see them do that too many more times, we might actually see both this gold gap close as well as just a lot of the characters for the Unicorns get to a point where these tanks are so tanky that they're so difficult to kill, or this MF ultimate is going to do too much damage. And if we get to that point, we could see this start to turn around for the Unicorns.
That's a really good point to bring up. Yes, Hammerheads have been mostly dominating this game, but if you look up there at the top of your screens there at that little timer, we're about at that 30-minute mark. And we are going to get into those situations where the full builds start coming out, the level 16 start to come out, and all that whole lead, that gold difference you had coming out of this 30-minute mark is going to be pretty insignificant when it comes to those team fights. So right now, Hammerheads, yes, they have an incredible lead. Yes, they're 7K up. Yes, they have 8 towers to 1, which is insane. but they need to close this game out. And that is something that I've seen from the Hammerheads a split. Super strong, great in team fights, great synergy, but it's closing the games that has been their one fault. So it's really in their hands here to find the win or let Unicorns come back into it.
Yeah, I think it is starting to like hinge on some of these later team fights. They're pretty close to the point where if they just have one more big team fight, they can pretty much lock Unicorns out of the game. They can just find like either this bot inhib or even just go for this bot and top inhib and then just go for one of these bigger objectives of Baron or even starting off with Baron if they think that they can do it without being contested too much. They're in a situation where they're just so close to finishing it all up and not having to worry so much about potentially fumbling team fights. But they, once again, do need to make sure that they don't even put themselves in a position where fumbling a team fight needs to be a concern.
Yeah, don't want to be in that situation. You do not want to get caught in that scenario. Sigma, though, on Feathers and Fur right now, doing a ton of damage. Ignite even being used, too. One more Q2 should do it, but the overcommit will not be used. They say, hey, Dream, send it, baby. Press that R button. And the Requiem will clean things up. Really, really well done to communicate that one. In the bot side, Melly G might be super sending it right now, but I think it's all a ruse. It's all a distraction, Becky. He might lose his life here. He might potentially look for a trade out of Brazil, but a beautiful flash to get out of the Fate Sealed, and Melly goes down. However, the rest of the Hammerheads have started up this Baron and should be able to clean this one up. I don't think the Unicorns have any idea they're doing this.
Yeah, I question if it's worth it. That was like 1,000 gold shutdown going over to that MF, talking about ways that you could potentially fumble the game into your opponent's hand. The moment that bullet time is up, we have an extra 1,000 gold on this MF. It doesn't really matter if you have Baron. That's a scary team fight to put yourself in the position of. And so there is still potential now that this Malphite and Amumu are up again. If a team fight breaks out and this bullet time ends up getting to go off, it could be huge. Unfortunately, Sigma is just so tanky. The Tempered Fate. Oh, but a very nice crescendo to save that MF, mattering quite a bit. So a 1-for-1, all things considered, not being too shabby there. And Versia just continuing to pick up a ton of gold.
Yeah, 650 off the Yon, which is... Yeah, that's a nice little influx of gold. Well, 650 just from the shutdown. Yeah, plus the kill there on the Sigma. You can't keep doing this. You cannot keep allowing these kills to go on over. And the bigger thing, too, is that these death timers, they are getting quite up there. We saw in Sigma's last death, it was like 52 seconds off the drop. It's only going to keep getting longer and longer. And you keep giving Unicorns these windows, you're going to start losing objectives. You're going to start... regretting maybe some of the decisions that are being made out here. So again, yes, you have a lead. Yes, you are strong, but so are the Unicorns. They are ramping up just as equally as you are at this point, and you need to maybe with a little, just a dash of respect there on what they're able to do. Feathers, super disruptive with that ult. If he can get one off again and let it rip, that would be sweet. But it's a double Temper Fate now, and possibly with the Fate Sealed, they're going on in. Feathers answer back with another unstoppable force of their own. Melly G gets whacked by the crit there from Versia. That's a double kill for the Misfortune. A shutdown on a Dream. Pillars gets hit by the Requiem, and Sniper will be able to finish them off and get a double kill of their own. Another 2-for-3 trade in favor of the Hammerheads. But Dragon on the board right now. No junglers on the board at all. Should be interesting to see if there's going to be an attempt for a seal, because bullet time is available. But Versia has the Hextech ultimatum. Sorry, Sigma has the Hextech ultimatum. Versia, though, doing so much damage. Can they hold on with the heal from Sona? It's going to be huge, but not enough. Shutdown to the Camille. And just Amiyanki left on that Sona. It's going to run for the hills. Don't know if they overcommit to that one. But now the bigger picture is the Infernal Soul that was just secured by the Hammerheads.
Dang, that was okay. So Sigma and ADHD Graphics were able to kill that MF through the lifesteal of a Bloodthirster and the healing of a Sona. And neither of them have heal cut. So maybe at a certain point, damage is just going to be stronger than heal cut if you're almost 10k ahead of your opponent. But that is kind of a heartbreaker and just goes to show that Verzia really needs to be careful about being in the right place at the right time, timing that ultimate with the ultimates of Feathers and Fur and Vagar feed, and making sure that you're really layering that CC with that damage. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to stand up to something like this Camille.
No, Camille's Q2 does it does true damage. I don't know. There's not too many champions out there that get the true damage buff out. I call it a buff just because it does so much damage to you. You do not expect that much damage to come through. It's like, oh, where half my health bar is gone. I thought I was Tank Malphite. What the heck? Especially so on the squishies. Though the heal reduction is going to be interesting because it is really only Melly G that is currently having it. It might get a little dicey out there when it comes to these longer extended team fights, especially with the Sona holding on to that Moonstone, holding on to a Chemtech Putrefier as well too. And oh my goodness, the Temper Fates have been huge. Graphics though is stepping up a little far. Crystal Arrow coming up a little too far there on Amiyanki. Will be able to get out of that one. But right now, what I'm seeing from the side of the Hammerheads, multiple members storming down this mid lane. Almost like, if you look at the mini-map, it is the Flying V currently going on right now. So I'm curious to see, are they going to go for these turrets? Are they going to go for the overall team fight? Feathers and Fur looking in the bush. They are going to be able to catch him out, and Melly G is the first to engage here. Don't get too clumped up. Fate Seal comes on through, does a ton of damage. You do not want to mess with those crits again, though, Melly G. Requiem. My God, does so much damage, and Feather ticking down to 40 HP. Will just barely survive, though. Sigma on the chase on SP Pillars. Gets them really, really low, and Hammerheads now have the opportunity to open up this base, get themselves that mid inhibitor as well as the top inhibitor, and it could just be game right here, Becky. All the inhibitors, yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice Sona you got there. Goodbye. Requiem has a lot to say about that, and did so much, even for that little bit that just Melly G was the one putting on damage there. So just the combination of Melly G and Dream able to do a ton, start that off, and open this game up enough for them to take down every single one of those inhibitors for the side of the Unicorns. Baron should be an easy pickup now when it comes back up. And even, honestly, they probably don't even need Baron. They could probably just stand at the entrance of Unicorn's base, get a fight when they have this Requiem back up. Mind you, it's probably 20 seconds from being back up as well. So again, you could probably just stand there, wait, go for it, or you could really try and force it. Those super minions do get very difficult to handle, especially when you have a Baron buff. So that looks like it's going to be the decision-making play for the Hammerhead side here.
Yeah, and for the Unicorns, right, it's kind of do or die. They let this Baron go. That is going to be a huge, huge push potential. But honestly, I'm thinking a little bit ahead here, Melly G. Okay,
Melly G?
Go back to your team. Go back to your team. We're talking here.
The
Baron's up.
Melly G.
Yeah. Baron's up. That's the push there. It's up to the Hammerheads. I said it before that they need to be closing it out. It needs to happen soon because Elder's going to be on the board. You do not want to risk the burger flip here. But now the final fight potentially here. Double Temper Fate, and Camille goes down with the Hextech Ultimatum. Will blow them up. We see SP Pillars goes golden with Demonic Ascension, but Hammerheads are cleaning up. Melly G will get absolutely blasted there in the back, but Sniper Borka is stepping on up, picks up the double kill, picks up the triple kill. Let's go, Hammerheads. They find themselves
they don't need to go to the base.
Is going to be GG.
Yeah, Hammerheads at that point didn't even need to go into the base. Those super minions would have been more than enough to finish things off. The final stand for the Unicorns not doing nearly enough. The reactive team composition and the prowess of skill coming out from the side of Hammerheads ultimately going to be too much for the wombo combo team composition of the Unicorns.
Oh, that was spicy. That was real spicy. I'm not gonna lie. I had that was back and forth and back and forth. We had some moments from the Unicorns. I was like, do they come back? That was an insanely good ult from Feathers and Fur. Oh, Verzia's popping off again. You didn't even look at the score there. 11, 6, and 4 on the Misfortune. That is nothing to scoff at. But the overall...
I like the exact 40k damage.
Oh, wow. You know what?
That's kind of impressive in its own way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm at I'm at a loss of words. Well done. Well played. Calculated? Question mark. We're gonna keep things brief though, because next game teams are almost ready, but we're gonna come back to the analyst desk real quick to visit our lovely friend Thunder Becky.
Yeah, let's see what Thunder has to say about that. Kind of
Well,
crazy.
Wow.
that was crazy, and
Wowie.
we had an absolutely back and forth game. While Hammerheads felt they were the ones in control for pretty much the entire game. Unicorns, they were so close. They almost came back. Maybe if they just had one more really good ultimate, maybe some type of charm effect, AoE that could kind of carry through the team. I don't know. There must be some sort of champion, but we'll I digress. I will say that game overall did feel like an absolute banger. It certainly was to watch, but Becky, I know you are a big fan of the Seraphine. There were multiple moments there that it felt like maybe just one more thing might have put it over the edge. The Sona did feel good though. What's your opinion? What was your opinion on the Sona? It was on the losing team, but it did have some effect.
I think that the ways that the crescendo were used were specifically to save the misfortune. And in that case, crescendo is a lot better because there's a lot less of an animation. There's a lot less time to react if you're one of those people who's trying to jump onto that misfortune. So I think in that way it was a lot better, but I think that we could have had some more insane team fights if there had been that encore from a Seraphine. You're saying I'm not actually a fan of the Seraphine? I actually think that Seraphine is an insufferable champion, but it's because it is so good.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
Cool.
I'm not. We don't. Look. I'm a Skarner fan. Okay, none of us like Seraphine. All right.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. A nice little lore reference there as well. I love it. So
yes.
I do think that the Seraphine could have maybe turned the tides, especially with how like Pillars was never playing like Pillars was behind on the Swain. Pillars was always going in on the Swain, like pretending like I'm very fed. And that was never the case. So we never got to see that really do a whole lot. But if that had been paired with a core, like being like, oh, this Amumu, this Malphite, this Swain are in the middle of the team. What am I going to use to like just CC everyone? Encore. If that had been the case, I think we could have seen some pretty insane things, but I will give props to the Sona for being able to use those crescendos in a great way to try to keep that MF alive a little bit longer in a lot of those team fights and successfully doing so.
So kudos to Hammerheads for keeping the Group A win streak alive. But notably, we're going to go ahead and get into brief analysis for our next game coming up. It is Lions versus Vipers. Vipers have won yet again. They defeated the Bandits. Vipers beat Bandits. But Falcons beat Lions, who just took down the Crusaders. So Lions are having a little bit of an up and down day. Vipers are continuing their dub train. Gurf, this matchup, we're all over the place a little bit. Vipers versus Lions. Give me the rundown. What should we expect out of this?
Burger flip. No.
What?
The burger flip. Burger flip. No. 50.
Okay.
I'm like right down the middle. You flip the coin, it lands in the middle. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Both teams have taken down giants. Both teams have lost games you would think they would win. So I'm not too sure which way this one's going to go. I know it's going to be a banger. I know both teams have definitely stepped up in terms of performance. So I'm expecting yet another banger here tonight, but only time will tell. I'm just hoping both these teams bring their best and give me the most spicy, sizzly burger flip they can give me.
Well, I fully expect to see it again. Vipers are now sitting. They started at the bottom of Group B last week. They are now second in Group B at this point. The worst they can do is be tied for second after this game. So we will have to see if they can keep that up. We're going to have to see if Lions can continue there. You know, if they can come back, if they can get another win and keep themselves in contention for playoffs. We're going to take our break. Before we get into Lions versus Vipers, it's our last game of the day. Keep those butts in those seats. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. This is just announced. Sigma did indeed win our MVP for the last matchup in the top lane. 4 kills, 3 deaths, 7 assists, doing absolutely massive damage with those Qs, chunking out just about everybody while they were throwing themselves into their death multiple times. But that doesn't matter when you just win the game. So, with our MVP announced, we will go ahead and take it to the caster desk. Gurf and Becky will get you into our last game of the night.
Woo!
All right, thank you, Thunder, and congratulations there to Sigma. A lot of big names there on Hammerheads that performed. But game number 3, final one of the evening, Lions versus Vipers. There's been a lot of back and forth. There's been a lot of upsets, a lot of question marks, a lot of what is happening because Lions take down Crusaders. Vipers went their 3-0 week last week, and I'll double check to see where we're standing tonight, but. Vipers currently 6-5, taking over the second place spot in Group B. What the heck, Becky, is going on? I'm at a loss. I'm surprised. I'm super impressed. I'm super excited. But like, holy moly, I would have never believed this for us.
I would never believed it either, but here we are. And as you've mentioned multiple times, Nickel is the scary player for the Vipers on that 80 carry role, and the Jinx immediately banned away. Not something that they're going to have to worry about. And something that we see a whole heck of a lot is that first very swift, very quick MF pickup. This time we've also banned the Seraphine though, so we can't couple any of that business together, but not to worry. With that 80 carry pickup, do you think we'll see Nickel have a rebuttal to something like this MF really quickly, or will we see? Oh,
yes. That didn't take long, did it, Becky?
Woo!
Oh, wait.
Oh, okay. I like this better. I like this better.
I like this way better.
Yeah.
Yumi Twitch.
Yeah.
It's gross, right? Yumi also goes invisible with Twitch, but this is just a patented specialty. Twitch Lulu. This almost brings me back to my days on the Outlaws last summer split. Not this summer. There was the one before that. It's strong. It's extremely strong. Lulu did unfortunately receive some nerfs to her Whimsy recently, but I think that is more affecting the polymorph end of it, where, okay, you can't scroll them for as long, I guess. Sure, why not? But yeah, that is a super strong duo. A lot of B1 misfortune. It's been a B1 misfortune every single time. Potentially preview into Worlds. I don't know. Maybe that's going to be the case here. I know. Switch it up, fellas. But it's strong. It's super strong. Moo follow up too. I know, but you can't beat the one-ball combo, right? Bullet time, Curse of Sad Mummy. It's fantastic setup. But they gotta sniff out where the Twitch is gonna be. That's gonna be the big one. And as Becky Rita, our other Becky here on Victoris, John Deere has been locked in.
And that has to be. I mean, what if this mummy is actually a support?
I think it is. Unless the Zelectric is comfortable with the Udyr top, but with his changes, I think we are honestly getting a Moo misfortune in the bot lane, and a Lilia gonna be locked in here for the Vipers too.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Picking a character that does so good with burn damage, so good with Leandries against the 2 tanks that have been picked up so far. I actually really like this Lilia pick.
I'm down with it. You get the sleep off onto, well, everybody, as many people as you possibly can. It is going to be, and that's this word keeps coming up for me tonight, Becky. Disruptive. That's kind of what you're looking to do. Interrupt what the Lions are looking to line up here, which is going to be that bullet time, that Curse of Sad Mummy, and the Udyr, who can now run at you a little bit faster than previously. So
yeah.
Wouldn't be too surprised if potentially we see something spicy like, I don't know, a Ghost Smite Udyr in the jungle. That's being a little hopeful maybe for that extra need for speed out there. But either way, this could be fun, and maybe not so much for Dark Python and Electric because everything in the top lane just got banned out.
Yeah. Okay. So not a lot of top laners left. But we'll find a tank nonetheless in the form of Dr. Mundo. Haven't seen that one in a while.
I like it. I really like it. Super tanky, lots of heal. There needs to be again a little bit of heal cut, just a little bit, just a touch. Curious to know what the answer is going to be in terms of another top lane going into that. Are we just going for super the wet noodle fight, 2 meatballs up in that top lane? or are we going to see something potentially a little extra spicy? This to me, though,
How do you feel about Is Volibear extra spicy?
I think it's actually going to be Udyr top, if I'm going to be
Really? And
completely
you think it's a
honest.
Volibear jungle?
This is something
These
I
are
haven't said in a
some
while.
meaty characters. We've
It's
been saying meatballs a lot tonight, but this meat.
Schmeat balls out here at this
Yeah.
point. But this is one thing I haven't seen in a long time. Back to fall 2020, the current captain of the Lions, former player on the Lions back there, the one of the best Volibear players I have seen in this league has been Cheese Key. I would not be too surprised if we see him running that, but I think the
Oh.
bigger thing we need to focus on is what just showed up in the mid lane, which is the
The
Azir
Azir?
Becky. Holy spicy! Wow. Nico? Okay. Okay. I
This
don't
is a
know how
lot
I
of
feel about it.
AP damage.
Mhm.
This is interesting. I do think that Nico is quite good with something like the Lulu. Like you're already a character that is planning to try and get into the middle of a team. I am a little bit concerned about Nico into the rest of these picks. I feel like that is not the most impactful character against Volibear, Udyr, and Mumu. And maybe at this point, we're just hoping that the two bruisers of Udyr and Volibear don't end up being nearly as tanky, and you're going to still be able to do some amount of burst damage, and then Lilia can also just do that DOT damage. This is kind of an interesting shakeup, though, and I think this is the most even draft that we've seen all day.
Mhm. I agree with you. It's been quite interesting going through our drafts today. But I agree with you. I would say you got some evened out in terms of tankiness, damage. CC is also quite readily available for both of these teams. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out because honestly, the first one that sticks out to me is the Azir v Nico in this mid lane, and yes, the Azir, I would think
Yeah.
maybe gets a slight little edge there. But we got to look over to the side of the Vipers and see who is piloting the Nico. And that's Toasty. Toast C. Toast C. It's going to come out Toasty as the night goes on just due to speed, but has been incredibly performing well for the side of the Vipers. A huge addition to this team. So I'm interested to see how Starling is going to deal with this new addition to the Vipers. It does, at least on my end here, seems to be the Volibear going to the top. So I was like, okay. I was right saying most likely Udyr in the jungle. I was hoping to see maybe if we got Cheese Keys Volibear back again, for old time's sake. But no, it will not be that way around. But looking through, right? The drowsy for the Vipers off the lilting lullaby, right? Followed up by the Twitch Lulu. That is going to be some really, really scary damage. And if you can get the Pop Blossom on top of all of that from Toasty, it gets nasty out there. Flip it over to Lion's side, right? We already mentioned Bullet Time, Curse of Sad Mummy, but the Shurima Shuffle, along with possibly any opportunities for a tower dive with the Volibear Stormbringer, could catch the Vipers off guard. I would think so. I think just my initial thoughts here is out in the open, these fights might be slightly Viper sided, but if we're looking for those spicy plays, potential tower dives, Lions have the facilities here to make it happen.
Yeah, this is interesting because now I'm starting to think. I'm like looking at this Azir, and I'm like, okay, if you do Shurima, who are you Shurima shuffling? Like, who do
Yes.
you want to? You want to get Twitch or Lulu, but Lulu's going to be so far back. Twitch is going to be invisible. If you shuffle a Nico into your team, Nico's going to ult, and that's going to be bad. Lilia's not going to be like tanky, but she's going to have a lot of health, so you're not going to be able to kill her immediately. And you definitely don't want to Shurima shuffle a Mundo into your team. So this is actually like maybe a little bit of an Azir-proof team comp if they're able to play it right. And once again, we might just be looking at like a very proactive team that's very needy playing into a reactive team that is just trying to see how they're going to kill the people who they're able to kill when they can.
Yeah. If anything, that Azir ult is going to be really, really useful in terms of when Vipers are looking to engage.
go.
You send the Nico out, you send the Lilia out too, right? Because those are super heavy in your face. When they want to engage, they are going to be, "Whew, hey, how's it going?" right face to face. So to be able to remove the Pop Blossom, to be able to remove the Lilia, because after the Lilting Lullaby, Lilia can do so much damage to you. So just be able to say, hey, no thanks, back off, please, is going to be potentially a huge saving grace here. And then Lions, I don't want to count them out here. They were able to take down one of the best teams here in VAD tonight. There is a lot of follow-up. You can send the Amumu right back in. You can follow up with his ult, and then there's a lot of follow-up damage that can come from that. But it is kind of relying on Scorpio Darkwood having at least going even in bot lane to keep up in damage, to keep up and make sure that bullet time is going to be offering enough damage to at least pick off a few of these very crucial members on the Vipers.
Very true. And I think we've kind of talked through all the like hypotheticals. Now it's going to come down to how each of these players play their lanes and how these junglers find their way to be impactful in those said lanes. And I'm very interested to see how it is going to shake up and if Nickel is going to be able to go off in the same way on a Twitch.
I'm hoping too, right? Eyes on Nickel, huge performer so far this split. And again, both these teams have shown us some incredible results. Vipers currently sitting second in Group B, coming from, was it second last that they were in?
Yep.
Yeah,
Third
what the heck,
last.
Vipers? They flipped the switch. They said, okay, it's go time, baby. Let's send it. So I'm hoping we see them send it again. But Lions, they got to be feeling good. Yeah, they might have. I think they lost the last game, but game 1 against Crusaders. Come on. You still got to be vibing. You still got to be feeling good. The comms are probably, I'm hoping, mostly positive out there. So question mark on which of these teams do have that last little boost of energy at the end of the night here to finish it off. It is our final game of the evening, so make sure to get those last predictions in. See if you can earn yourself any V coins there in the chat, our channel points, as they're called. But we'll be right back in just a few moments. So ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. Go grab your snacks. Go hit up the washroom. Go hydrate yourself because Game 3 coming in soon. We'll see you on the Rift in just a sec. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is our final game here in Victoris Amateur Draft of week number 4. And we've got two spicy, upsetty spaghetti teams here out tonight. Again, I'm getting a little brain soupy out here today, but Lions had an incredible night so far. Vipers have been looking incredible. And now we get to see these two facing off as Sheep will step on out of the bush here and just do a little chuckle. Maybe threaten the bandage toss there against Gale, but across the lineups on the blue side, we've got our Lions in the top lane. It's going to be Zelectric in the jungle, Cheese Key in the mid lane, Starling on that spicy Azir, and then the bot lane, Scorpio Darkwood along with Sheep with the Misfortune Amumu Wombo combo. But on our red side, our Vipers, who just claimed second place in Group B, are looking to hold on to it. Top lane, you got Dark Python. Jungle, you got Gale. In the mid lane, you got Toasty. And in the bot lane, Nickel and Sunny. It's going to be a banger. I'm excited for this one. Becky, what's our standout? Who are we watching? And who is going to get first blood here? Any predictions?
I have no predictions on First Blood, but I know that I want to be watching the bot lane of Twitch and Lulu. That's just a fun lane to watch, kind of any way you slice it. Twitch is just a ton of fun to watch, a ton of fun to listen to, and one of the greatest champions in League of Legends.
I don't disagree with you there. That is a fun combo to play. Honestly, being one to play it quite a lot. It is going to be interesting though, seeing how it goes into the Misfortune of Mumu, especially level 2 is going to be a big one. We definitely got to have our eyes on for when these bot laners hit level 2, which is not going to be too far off. But even bigger will be the level 6s, because that is when Scorpio, Darkwood, and Sheep become unlocked. They will hit that level 2 first, so Bandage Toss with 2 charges available is a huge threat here. So that's why we see Sunny and Nickel, unfortunately, will have to pull off for that one. You do have Zelectric roaming around this top half. Again, these early jungle invades on the red side of the, red side have been quite prominent tonight. And the teams that have been getting away with it have honestly found a lot of success in those early minutes. So I'm going to keep an eye around this mini-map in the next few minutes.
The movement of this Udyr and Lilia just kind of mirroring each other as well. It'll be also very interesting to see where Gale decides to immediately go. We're very much going to be watching where these junglers decide to try and put pressure and which lane they're going to decide to try and get ahead. Because there is like pretty much a lot of CC for both of these teams, and just deciding which one you want to try and help out. As we're seeing like pretty much damage across the board, all be pretty even on the top side of the map, mid side and bottom side, though Nickel and Sunny are a bit pushed in. It is at the cost of that mana bar from Scorpio Darkwood.
Yep, early resources going to be draining that Misfortune's mana, and let's see if they can keep up with it, though. Sheep has got to be looking. That Misfortune... Oh, you know what? Don't know if it was a bait. If I was at a Mumu, I would have been taking it. I probably got a little bit punished, but hey, it's all about these early trades and kind of taking over the lane. And the fact that Gale going to be going up towards the top half of the map too, they might want to just be a little bit careful, Nickel and Sunny, knowing that they do not have the support of the jungler in the area. But we do have Gale facing off against Electric here. The Romans from the mid lanes are going to be coming through. The Azir soldier over the wall, but the flash away from Gale keeps them alive. And now Toasty, the member of the Vipers, brand new addition, looking so good in week 3. Let's see if they can light it up, get that first blood. Gale comes back in, will grab it right back. It's first blood for the Vipers and 400 gold into the pocket of that Lilia.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too aggressive from Zelectric there. Does have the ghost, so there was never actually an opportunity to do a like flash over the wall into safety. Was forced as a result of that summoner spell to kind of just go further into the enemy jungle, not be able to go over that wall where that pinch maneuver was happening. So very nicely done from this red side team here, and a nice pickup of that first blood. Getting your Lilia Leandries as soon as possible is just going to equate to so much damage and so much terror from this little fawn.
Oh, Lost Chapter has been completed already. It's only 5 minutes in this game, Becky. As a fellow mage player, I might not pick up the Lilia too much, but that feels so good to have that extra income of mana, to have that extra ability power, and a little bit of ability haste too. It's a huge, huge item, huge part of the core on the Leandry. So, yeah, going to be continuing, potentially looking for some more roams. The farming is going to be a little bit easier too. We see the CS numbers have equalized out, but it's going to be a question. Okay, now that we've got ourselves a little bit of a lead here, very slight, I must say, only 600 gold up. What are we going to do with it? Are we looking for more roams? Are we going to look to set up on this early dragon? I'm sure they are asking themselves these questions, and Toasty has some really good timing, not going to overpush on this wave, and especially so. Didn't see Cheesekey, maybe just felt some presence, some spooky stuff happening in the river, and says, hey, you know what, I'm out.
Yeah, a good time to back too. Still hadn't backed off of gathering that assist, so is going to wait until that Nico has enough for a lost chapter as well. Just a good use of timing, making sure that you're making the most of that time and gold spent across these backs. Teleport back into lane as well, so it's like I hardly missed a thing. And you're coming back with that last chapter, as you mentioned, just so important on pretty much any mage, as we see Gale try to go into the jungle, potentially a bad time, but we have that gonna help, unfortunately.
Wait a minute, Pop Blossom comes down to Toasty. Can they get at least a trade here? They're gonna get so much damage coming in from Starling, but still gets the trade onto Cheesekey. 1-for-1 apiece. That's gonna be the mid lane for the Vipers picking up a kill, but before Cheesekey was taken down, able to secure one for themselves too. Lovely little setup. They just waited it out. A lot of patience there to wait for Gale to get in there, and then they said, hey, you know what? Let's roam, let's rotate, and Shurima shuffle. It might be a little scary to send people into your team later on in this game, but in that case, really well played.
Yeah, nicely done, as you mentioned. Right place, right time, backing up Cheesekey there as well. Nicely, it's a 1-for-1, but, you know, it's a 1-for-1 that you will certainly take, especially when that kill's going on to something like that Udyr. But Toasty being able to pick up that kill as well on an impactful mage. Anytime those mages start to get ahead, they just start to dole out so much damage. And the fact that both of the mages for this other side here of the Vipers definitely makes it a little bit spooky. But Cheesekey trying to go in here.
That's John Deere revving up their engines here, trying to find something in the top side. But you know what? That the I would say recent-ish changes to Mundo. He just says no to CC. He's just like, I don't like it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to see it. And now Electra says, hey, you know what? You denied my jungler CCing you. You shall pay with your life. Cheesekey comes back for another round, and we'll scoop up that kill. In the bot side, though, we do have the rotation coming in from Sheep alongside Scorpio. The bullet time is available. So is the Curse of the Sad. No, it's not available quite yet. I got a little ahead of myself, but the bandage toss goes on in. That's going to be the bullet time. It does get interrupted by the polymorph. And Sunny will survive. Nickel still trading on out. No ulti available for that Twitch yet either. So the spray and pray, unfortunately, a minion away. They should be able to secure it right here. Potentially a look down the roam for Gale. So they're lurking in the river. That's the Twitch going invisible, but spotted out by the control ward. Doesn't matter. Lilting Lullaby will connect. Flashing on forward from Sheep. Doesn't matter. You just got bonked by the deer. And not John Deere. This is Gale's kill right there. Picking up their second.
Yeah, that might have actually been a little bit of an unfortunate flash to take that kill there. Like, I get that we have the Dark Seal on this Lilia, but I really wish we would have gotten that kill over to Nickel and not dedicated that extra flash, because Nickel certainly would have been able to get that kill with that extra range from that ultimate ability. And so we've kind of just used this flash for what? The barely smidge of extra AP on a Dark Seal, which just doesn't quite feel worth it to me, but we'll see. Maybe if Gale can completely pop off on this Lilia, I'll eat those words, but based on how we've seen Nickel perform previously, I'm not inclined to say that too quickly.
Hey, kill secured. Kill secured. That's what Gale's typing in chat right now. Say, don't worry, I got you guys. I got this kill locked out, and probably just like a blank. The deadpan stare office from Nickel, like, come on, give me something here. Toasty, though, trying to find something on a Starling. Lovely little scooch out of the way with that Azir Soldier, narrowly avoiding which could have been, it would have been close. I don't know if it would have been the full damage, but you got Sheep and Cheesekey floating around this mid lane as well, too. Don't know if they're going to try for a tower dive. You do have is Electric, actually. He's soloing Herald. I thought he was going to roam down, potentially look to use that Stormbringer, but spotted out by Dark Python. They're going to be trading out a little bit, but nobody yet to answer. Cheesekey and Sheep still lurking over on the bottom half this map. Shurima Shuffle goes on back. Toasty has been officially caught out, and Starling sets it on up. The patience pays off from the Udyr and the Amumu. Zelectric still going on this Herald. Will have the backup of his team now to secure it.
Yeah, very nice. The loss of that Nico is going to be more than enough for his electric start there to secure. Rift Herald going over to the side of the Lions, and now we're able to continue to be a big scary bear in this top lane against this, Amundo's scary too.
Oh yeah, he's a little scary out there. Super tanky, super duper tanky. We'll see who's gonna be able to deal with the double meatballs in the top half. Though a lot of meatballs on the side of Lions, so let's see how that one goes. But Dragon secured here by the Vipers, and now the Drowsy, the Lilting Lullaby used on a cheese key. They're gonna get shredded apart. Another shutdown goes on over to Gale. Nickel will be able to secure a kill finally for themselves as back in goes Starling, but with absolutely no exits available. Nickel will pick up 2. Gale picks up 1. That is 3 kills for the Vipers and a Dragon with no answer. They might even just get another one here, Becky. Scorpio's getting lit up. The Twitch stacks are there. The poison is ticking down. And will it be enough? 102 health is as low as they'll go. So no more for Nickel for now.
Yeah, that seems like it was... I mean, you know that you have to be going into a lot of players from the side of Vipers, so it seems a little bit overzealous of me that we saw the Lions just go down and try to fight a 4v3, especially because Scorpio Darkwood was not coming up to go to that fight. And as a result, they kind of get pummeled by Gale, who's gotten some early kills and is quite ahead here, and then Nickel just getting to go off a little bit there as well. So an unfortunate spot for the Lions to find themselves in, where this Lilia now has a finished Leandri, 6 stacks on the Dark Seal, and this Twitch is about to back with quite a bit of gold in their pocket.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together for Gale right now. Feeling good about being 3-1-3. Feeling good about those 6 Dark Seal stacks. I'm curious if they're just going to fully commit into the Medjays, but having the Leandries already, having the Sork shoes that they just picked up, and a Negatron cloak. Okay, wow. Gale just Mr. Moneybags over here spending, flexing on us out here, saying, "Oh, look how much money I have." I wish I had this much money in some of my games, but. So super impressive on just the presence, just being in the right place at the right time, like you mentioned, Becky. That's been Gale this game. Right now, though, this is what you would expect from Twitch Lulu. Even though the exhaust comes out, spray and pray was used. Sunny steps on forward to potentially look for more, and Sheep just has to question: do I go in? Do I look for more? Decides to take the safe route out. So I would expect more of that from the bot lane here of the Vipers, but Gale potentially getting on caught out. That's going to be the Lilting Lullaby. Will stop Cheesekey in their tracks, and they're forced to peel on off. Even with Starling making a rotation up, that deer is going to be so fast.
Yeah, that Udyr actually did a lot of damage to Gale as well, and Gale was forced to flash away, so that's a pretty big summoner spell to be down from that deer, who's going to be trying to get into pretty close range to deal a lot of damage. Is Dark Python actually doing a lot of damage to Zelectric here?
Oh, Gale's back for more. Said, hey, guess what? My Dark Seal isn't fully stacked yet. Why don't we go ahead and get another? That's a kill picked up for Gale. That's 8 stacks on the seal. And now Cheesekey dancing around with these 2 members of the Vipers. Gonna be a little risky. They're looking to go underneath the tower. Dark Python goes for more and will secure yet another kill for the Vipers. That's 8-3. That is going to be even more gold for them. And the streak shall continue here, Nickel, though.
Nickel?
Wait.
Oh! Wow, okay, I thought for sure.
I can't look, Becky! Oh, God! Oh, no!
What? Everything's fine. Nothing happened. Come back.
It was so close. He went to auto, and then just as the back timed out, landed on the ward. But Dark Python in some trouble. No, he goes down. Oh, no, Toasty!
Oh, my gosh, Toasty! Okay, everything's fine.
A little spicy. A little zesty out there on the Rift tonight, Becky.
I mean, you gotta be just a little bit every once in a while. But Toasty does know that ultimate is down now, so this Pop Blossom ability opens up quite a bit. But we have also seen that Starling has done a great job of being able to avoid that ultimate regardless.
I've just got my eyes on Nico right now, who's also trying to step up, trying to look for something. Toasty's back will be stopped just now. But I've actually got my eyes on Nickel for another reason, because the cull is about to be completed. So a little bit of influx of gold coming in. Maybe even more the fact that Gale has decided to come down to the bot lane too. It's going to be double, triple Curse of the Sad Mummy that lands, but Nickel's still able to finish off Scorpio. Now with the Lilting Lullaby on top, Gale secures their 5th kill, possibly even diving for Sheep. Well, Sheep goes back in, and a double kill is secured by Nickel. Vipers picking up kills left and right, but in the top lanes, Electric manages to find that tier 1 and is putting on some good pressure up there. It's going to be interesting, Becky. Will the top half win out when this bottom side is doing so well for the Vipers, as well as Gale running around being an absolute menace with this fully stacked Dark Seal?
I would maybe believe it if Selectric was playing a Yorick. I have a little less faith than the Volibear, unfortunately. If those of you in chat are concerned or confused, you can go watch the first game that we saw tonight and just watch a Yorick 1v4, and you'll understand why I'm saying that.
He's such a mean champion. That's just an absolute bully through and through. Cyberbully, report to Riot. Like it's too mean. So we'll see if Volibear can potentially stand up to something like that. But second dragon easily secured here by the Vipers. They are on an absolute roll. They are up 4.3k gold if we're looking around here, rounded up to 4.5 if we're being generous. It's just been extremely good rotations, extremely good presence from the entire team to be, like I said, right place, right time. Guess who it is again? It's none other than OTE Gale. Unfortunately, not going to be able to land that. Not the watch out. No, not the swirl seed. We're getting there. Blooming blows. Eventually, 3rd time's the charm. Does so much damage, but you got to be able to land it.
I have a question for you.
Yes, Becky.
How do you feel about this? This fawn? Mm-hmm. The fawn with the fawn with the fawn? The fawn with the
Fawn?
I
think so.
I mean, I think it's an interesting decision considering how fed we are. Considering Sunny is getting absolutely blasted.
Sunny just got blown up. Shurima shuffled into the team. Nickel's able to answer back, but Gale getting chased down. Cheeske's gonna try and find something, but with all the stacks on the Dark Seal, can you compete? No, you cannot. Flashing on forward as well. It's a triple kill. Gonna go for Scorpio. That's a quadra kill. Oh my god, we're 18 minutes in this game. I want to know who took away the penta. But damn, this Lilia is insane, Becky.
I guess if you're ahead, you can go ahead and also build tanky, because you finished your Leandries, you're going to do so much damage, you can just go ahead and make yourself a little bit stronger. In a different way. The fawn with the fawn.
Fawn with the fawn, having some fun out there. Oh my god, 9-1-6. I'm waiting for the Medjays to come through after this tower. With Shelly as well too. This thing is absolutely, toast here. But this has just been an incredible performance from the Vipers jungler. Toasty going to be looking for some more. Shelly able to finish off that mid tier 2 as Cheesky walking on in. Needs to be careful. That is so much damage that comes out so damn fast. And doesn't need to go super aggressive here. That dragon not up for another 2 minutes. But my question for you, Becky, how are they going to be able to deal with the Cilia, who's 9-1-6, as well as Nickel, who's 5-0-6 on this Twitch? Like, what? Look at this, Becky.
Twitch just gets to do this. I mean, I can understand why Starling went and did the Shurima Shuffle on Sunny. That Lulu is extremely annoying, especially if you're trying to go for the Shurima Shuffle on the Twitch or even the Lilia at this point to try and just blow one of those characters up. It gets so difficult to do if this Lulu is in existence. So I understand trying to blow up the Lulu, but we just spent everything on killing the Lulu. Scorpio Darkwood came in by the time that the first player had died on the team and didn't really get to do anything, just kind of had to run away the moment that the fight was entered, and it just was an unfortunate situation and a little bit of a poor setup from the side of the Lions.
Mm-hmm. And as much as I want to commend Cheesky on being, I would say, relatively still decently big on the Udyr here, that gold needs to be on some of your main carries as well too. Yes, Udyr is going to be scary. Udyr is going to be annoying. But if those kills were on the Azir or on the Misfortune, we would be seeing, I would think, a little bit different outcomes in these fights. Again, coming to this game, right, I mentioned how important these bullet times were going to be. They need to have impacts on the fight, but there needs to be the damage to back them up. Unfortunately, we haven't quite seen that, and with another Dragon up here in 45 seconds, it's going to be really hard for the Lions to try and step up to this, and if they do, they run the risk of potentially getting wiped out again by the Vipers and all their AoE, Drowsies, Lilting Lullaby. I say all of it. This is just coming from Gale. All the rest, too, has been extremely just really tough to deal with. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But we'll see as Toasty. Oh, Toasty.
Toasty's like, don't forget about me.
Yep. And more saying to Scorpio there, don't forget you're an ADC.
Yeah.
Still squishy. And now no bullet time available for the Dragon, Becky.
Absolutely not. This is going to be a rough situation. No bullet time, not even no bullet time, no MF. So you don't even get those extra punchy auto attacks. You've got nothing to work with. Dark Python also just keeping Electric in the top lane. No teleport will be even attempted for you. Let's keep our champion advantage by this dragon. Hextech Dragon secured. And so much going on all portions of the map here as Dark Python and Electric's little duel up here, you know, the meat mall mashup. We just need the spaghetti to go along with it.
Oh my god. On top of spaghetti. These two right here.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, they're just duking it out. You got two meatballs, two wet noodles, but now look at the squad. They have summoned the squad. Gale is just around the corner. Swirling Siege should be coming out in just a second to see if they can find anything here. But they're going to be able to dodge out of this one's Electric, though, with no tower to go
Gale?
back into safety. Will be burned down. Look how much damage the Leandre's doing. Are you kidding me? What?
Wow.
What is this damage? 10-1-7 on Lilia. Now with officially Medjai's, Nickel's going to be looking for Scorpio here. And my goodness, this Misfortune is going to be going down. 13 HP, 5 HP. No, not close enough.
Maybe you need a Leandries, Nickel.
Oh my goodness. Lions in a really tough spot right now. It's Vipers who have got all the dragons. They've got all the gold. They're up 10k here at 23 minutes. Is there any angle, Becky, that they're going to be able to find their way back into this game?
Get this shutdown gold off of this Lilia. And hope that it goes on to somebody like Scorpio Darkwood. We hope that Scorpio Darkwood stops being in lanes alone and getting picked off by any one member of the Vipers, and hope to have a good team fight where you're able to continue to duke out damage. Toasty forced to flash, but is trying to take names.
No. That cannot happen. Alted over the bullet time. It would have been secured, but that is so unfortunate. Starling is at least able to clean that one up. Baron, though, is almost down. But again, this was something I was going to mention after this last Dragon, was the focus that Vipers have to securing a pick. Baron is going to go down. Cheesky again hit up with the Lilting Lullaby. That main threat from the Lions is just being eviscerated the moment they show their face. And now 4 members of the Vipers sitting with that big purple buff. Electric, not realizing that they're standing on top of a ward, will use the Stormbringer as an exit route. And things are looking so rough out there for the Lions, but I would say the focus needs to be on this Vipers team, who, despite all odds, despite sitting bottom of the standings in Group B, have found just an incredible formula here for themselves. It is amazing to watch this happening, Becky.
Not amazing if you're a Lions fan.
No, that one caveat on the point.
But if you're a fan of the Vipers or a fan of Lilia, you're like, this is amazing. I am having my dessert at the end of the night. This is phenomenal. And 20 stacks on the Medjai's is not where you want to be if you are a blue side player, but certainly something that you're excited about if you are this little deer.
Yeah. in all honesty now, 25 minutes into this game with a 12k gold lead, sitting one dragon away from securing Ocean Soul. If they didn't have a big enough lead here, Vipers, it is in their hands here to close it out. One more big team fight could potentially spell the end here. They are going to be looking for, honestly, any pick, and realistically can go for any pick because there's just not enough damage going to be coming out of the lines here. So let's see how they do on the push. She's going to be going in. Oh, actually, that was a nice bandage toss coming in from Sheep, but that's going to be another Lilting Lullaby coming through. And again, the damage is just too much to overcome. Shurima Shuffle finds absolutely no one, and Viper's going to be cleaning it up once again, baby. That's a double for Gale. That's a double for Toasty, and that's the ace for the Vipers with the Baron buff now and the double cannon up minions. This should be the end right here. What an incredible performance from this team. So amazing to see the leaps and bounds they have taken as a squad. Vipers, close it out. GG.
Wow. And 26 kills, 26 minutes. All you really need. Half of those kills are literally on the Lilia. Woo!
My jaw's on the floor right now. Like, Gale, Lilia, oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so excited to see how much damage they actually did here, because whoa, okay,
I
Gale,
think I also deserve the eating of my words. I believe I said I wish we'd have given the kill to Nickel. Unless Gale pops off on the Lilia, then I'll eat my words. And I think I would call this a pop off.
Oh yeah, popping off for sure. This is honestly one of the best Lilia games I have seen. Yeah, just so damn clean. Again, a lot of that comes from knowing where you need to be, piloting this champion to an absolute T, and then it's the reward system that you get benefited from for being around the map in the right place, helping your team out. Just Gale was on top of the game today, was absolutely immaculate out there. And of course, you had the rest of the team holding it down. Bot lane performed extremely well too. Yeah, what else can you say about this Viper squad? They just played out of their minds.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like Dark Python just like got to keep Zelectric in check for pretty much the whole game, but in reality, like the top lane never really mattered in this game. Like, maybe that sounds like a little mean to say, but considering, like, the team composition, the Mundo was there for if team fights did start to break out. Mundo was just supposed to stand between, like, the important characters trying to backline, like, your Twitch and the enemy team. And there were just, like, never situations like that. It was just this Lilia running around the map, wreaking havoc, and then the Twitch eventually getting to the point after the Kraken Slayer was complete, being able to do the exact same thing. We never really got a lot of full 5-on-5 team fights. It was a lot of scrapping in the middle, and the scrapping just ends up going in the favor of the players who got ahead early, which happened to be Gale and Nickel.
Oh, that was awesome. That was absolutely incredible stuff. Why don't we go ahead and bring it back to our analyst desk to see how Thunder feels about all the Lily action we just got to see.
Well, Garth, Becky, let me tell you, I am extremely happy. Not at the downfall of the Lions or even at the success of the Vipers, but at the fact that I got to see a Lilia jungle absolutely pop off. One of my all-time favorite champions. I was looking at that Leandri's build. I saw that Force of Nature second, and I was like, oh my god, Gale is Giga Brain. The burn from the passive plus the Leandri's, it kills anybody from 20% when you're up by 3 levels. It was absolutely gorgeous, and it paid off. And Gurf, I think we now have the answer to the question we've been asking the last couple of weeks of how are Vipers doing this. We just got to see them. Last time we saw them on stream, they got obliterated by the Crusaders. Now they come around and they completely dismantled the team that beat the Crusaders.
What? That's what I said going into this game. I was like, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. But Gale was the, I was memeing a little bit saying the burger flip. Gale was the owner of the spatula. He was the owner of the whole diner out there. Absolutely just immaculate performance.
Gale's like the owner of Denny's.
Gale is the Burger King.
Gale, CEO of Denny's, confirmed. We have that absolutely confirmed. That is 100% true. But honestly, memes aside, this is just showing us how well they know this champion in and out. The other thing too is the communication that we saw out there. Being able to line up yourself with your team, timing your ults, timing yourselves around these dragons, looking for these crazy rotations and making them work. That comes from lots of hours playing Lilia, as well as finding your communication and your synergy with your team. So it's really shown off. And like you mentioned too, Thunder, comparatively to the Vipers we saw back in week 1, week 2, this is a whole new team. They found the groove. And this is just, I'm just blown away. I'm really happy to see that they're making this kind of performance happen. And I'm just so excited for more.
Yeah, and Becky, I was going to mention this again, not to call you out, but as a bit of a rewind of where you called like, hey, why did the Lilia flash in? And I mean, like we saw why it ended up working out, but that's a gamble, right? Lilia is not always just going to carry the game from there. But kind of looking back on that, the Twitch still did perform. But the Lilia came out on top overall. But again, the Twitch, it worked well. And I will say, honestly, I want your opinion on this. I think without the success of the bottom lane, with how powerful that bottom lane was playing, I honestly don't think the Lilia gets that far ahead.
No, I kind of agree, especially because the success of the bottom lane did come at the downfall of the MF on the opposing side, the downfall of even a Mumu just being allowed to be a little bit more tanky. And I think if that ends up starting being a little bit flipped, if we had seen an MF as powerful as some of the MFs that we've seen tonight, because we did see an MF in every single one of our games, first picked.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that we got to see it be absolutely wrecked. And I do kind of think that the Twitch is kind of the perfect pick around an MF, because you just get to be like, normally we saw Ashe pretty much be the counter pick to it all night, which makes sense. You get ulted, you used your ult, stops it, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But this way, you just like completely avoid it most of the time. You just say, oh, I'm going to be invisible. You're never going to have a situation where you know where I'm going to be. You're not going to be able to get off those big bullet times, at least not while in lane. And as a result of that, we got to see the Twitch get big. But had that been on the side of the MF, we could have had a situation where we blow up the Lilia relatively easily. That ultimate does so much damage. You could have blown up a Nico even. And we just unfortunately got to see Scorpio get shut down in every single lane across the map time and time again. And as an ADC main, it kind of broke my heart.
Yeah, understandable. And the Lulu also in that Twitch Lulu lane. Y'all said, hey, great pairing, iconic. Yeah. Gurf, you said, the squirrel mode doesn't last quite as long, not as effective. Well, it doesn't matter when it just takes the MF out of the ultimate 2 or 3 times. And also, I think it tends to be helpful, Gurf, when you just have one person that's absolutely carrying, that you can make literally just get absolutely gigantic and carry even easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's again Lulu, one of my favorite.
Surprise of no one.
Yeah, surprise of no one.
Unanimous,
it's one of my favorites. It is. Oh, wait a minute. What am I looking at? Oh,
MVP screen.
My bad. We switched scenes. My apologies. To the surprise of no one. Yeah. Retweet Becky once again. Hashtag no surprise. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know if I can gas up Gale anymore. Like, I just so well done. So well done. Very aggressive Lilia. Like, you cannot beat this. Like, angry Lilia. But
she's so sweet, Griff. Look how innocent she is. She couldn't hurt a fly.
She hurt everybody.
She hurt way more than flies in that game.
Multiple. She swept the leg. She took him out.
Cleaned the house.
Headshot plus 50. I don't know what reference you want from me. Gale was just incredible tonight, and that is from the bottom of my heart. Really well done. Congratulations to Gale and other teams. If you're seeing this.
Can I make myself have the angry eyebrows?
Hold on. We can redo
Why is this so difficult? Okay.
Hold on. Okay, there you go. Yeah, enough. Honestly, just incredibly well done. Like, you can't top it. Other teams have got to have this pick on their radar. Like, that is going to be a significant threat going ahead. If you're playing into the Vipers, just a heads up, team. You just saw what happened. either plan against it, plan something, because I don't even know what would be able to manage Lilia like that, because it was right off the bat in the early game where once the lead was taken, Dank Seal came in and then boom, like we just barreled ahead flat out. There was no answer to it after that.
I will say from personal experience, a shotgun will work against the deer.
Oh,
That tends
okay.
to be pretty effective, both in lore and in the game.
That's actually
Now,
hilarious.
besides that, taking a look overall, once again, congratulations, Viper. They're now 6-0. They have locked in second place. They're only 3 games behind the Crusaders now, as Crusaders fell once again, this time to the Razorbacks out of Group A. And looking overall at the day, Crusaders, they're now at 10-2. I believe they and Astronauts are now tied, both at 10-2 apiece. Crusaders obviously have the head-to-head in their win today. That's, ironically enough, the one team that Crusaders beat from Group A are Astronauts, so that's something to take note of. They otherwise lost to Lions and Razorbacks. Otherwise, looking overall at the standing, nothing has changed too much. Bandits and Razorbacks out of Group A, still in that 2-3 position. Hammerheads and Lions are now kind of down, scrapping for that last spot out of the group in the playoffs. Falcons, Dragons, and Unicorns, though, have miraculously come back into a 3-way tie, but Vipers are now above them.
Just a little switcheroo there. We took week 3 to figure it out, and then whoop, we're back.
Yep. It's interesting. Dragons are currently in the standings listed as the 5th seed, but they are still all tied. So, I mean, hey, something to keep an eye out for next week. We have more intra-group duels to go through. But I will say, so far, I think I might have missed a game somewhere. But Group A, at least for this week, are rocking 10 wins to Group B's 8 or 7. Something along those lines. So they have another week to figure it out. But so far, Group A, they're in terms of their top teams, Crusaders took the win. But overall, Group A so far, they're edging out Group B just a little bit. Vipers hard carried Group B though, getting 40% of Group B's wins, which again, I don't think anybody expected, Becky.
I didn't even expect it, and I said that Group B was gonna come out on top. So what do I know? I'm just making picks for chaos at this point.
Hey, look, that's half the fun, as you said. But again, that is it for tonight. Those are our 3 matches, our 3 games. They were absolute bangers. Becky and Gurf, thank you so much for bringing us the action. Gurf, any final words before we head out for the night?
First of all, huge shout out to Night Train, who provided us some spicy content, some spicy graphics. I might have to tune into a stream. I know he does it, I think Saturday, Sunday. Just to, maybe contribute a vote or two on the stream end of things too. But yeah, huge thank you to them. Also to all the players tonight who put on, we got 3 banger games back to back to back. Regardless if it was a misfortune B1 every single time, the games were fantastic. So huge thank you to them. Of course, this was just so much fun with you guys. This was a banger night. So you guys are awesome. Great time working with you guys.
Of course, it's a blast. And of course, Becky, our first time working together. Finally, it's taken nearly a month to be scheduled, but we got there. And any final word before we sign off?
No final words. I'll just be proven wrong with whatever I say. So I will just say that they were all great games tonight. I had a blast working with everybody here once again, and I'm looking forward to it on the next one.
All right. Well, again, thank you all so much for coming out and watching. Once again, my name is Thunder. That is Gurf. That is Becky. Our Twitter handles are down there. Go follow us. Drop a follow. Give the engagement, not just to Victoris, but to everybody. And again, there's Victoris content every night this week, 8 p.m. right here. Same channel, same time, same place. So make sure you come back and check it out. VAD will continue next week. Again, more intra-group duels. We'll see who ends up coming out on top once and for all. But until then, be safe, be smart, make wise decisions, and farewell.